What's my budget? I wonder.
Oh, they're not New Year's.
No, there's 70. No, I was looking at the charge of them. They're at 70%. That's fine right now.
Ah, gotcha. There we go. Just got that going
What?
everywhere.
What? What do you want?
Let me give Oblivion a heads up here. He's one. Nikos won't need a special hat.
What?
There we go. After that. Let me give it 2-3 minutes. Let people gather.
What do we have left? We have the elves left.
And the Northmen.
Northmen. Or the rest of the Northmen, and then elves.
Yeah. We finished the Nair Rohan, so besides Rohan, we have all the other Northmen left.
Yeah, we got the Anduin, Dale, and Doranian.
Yep.
And then the three, I don't know, are we doing the three factions, or are we also doing Linden? Because I don't think Linden is in the mod yet, right?
We're doing all of the ones because we're technically reviewing for 2.0 in technicality. But but it'll be like with the Nair Blue Crack, you know. We're going by the previews and the little we know. Basically, we're estimating its ranking.
Right. Is most of the Linden? I'm wondering if most of the Linden posture is coming from Reforged.
Yeah.
Or is it Reforged, or is it something else? I don't remember.
Maybe left the lines even.
Does Last Alliance have Linden and Imladros? I don't remember.
No, I don't think it does, but I know it has good Elven units, so could have taken from them.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Nikos.
Hey.
How are ya?
Nah.
Just saw you, transferred, and got. So that we can speak properly, because father inside watches the match. So if I suddenly make a interruption, I will be back within seconds. Due to the match, as usual.
Yeah.
And so, okay, we're waiting.
Yeah, we're just giving it a minute or three for, you know, giving people a chance to gather.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, actually get on.
We want Oblivion in the mix as well.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, possibly.
That does remind me, does anyone have a flag we can use for Yavanna's Union? Because I'm not sure it has an official flag.
Yes, we didn't have something. We had the Yavanna's Union, which means the woodland realm, actually. The proper woodland.
Yeah. I am fully aware of that.
You could use Mirkwood's flag from Last Alliance, maybe.
Yes, possibly.
Or what's the? Is that the Third Age mod? Is that the Last Alliance World of War? Is that the one for Third Age? I don't fucking remember.
To search Garwin. Search Yavanna's Union in images, in Google Images, and maybe you can find something.
I was just there, that's why I asked.
Let me check ModDB for that one Third Age mod. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
Last Alliance Total War is Shogun 2.
Hello. Did the stream start?
Not completely. We're kind of just gathering and looking for a substitute for the Yavanas Union flag.
Alright.
Guys, returning. I said we will be able.
Okay. Damn it. No taco, just clear. I'm doing something right there, fucker. Stop it. Stop.
Maybe. Completely.
Is it Medieval 2 Total War or is it Total War Medieval 2?
Medieval 2 Total War.
I didn't remember if it had the Total War at the start or Medieval 2 at the start and Medieval 2 sometime. DCI last one. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah. I think I may have found a good one. See.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
See. The photos need to crop this one out.
Oh, it doesn't. DCI doesn't have the faction banners on the mod page. It's annoying.
Yeah.
I think so. When DCI also has separate Orpheus Realm, which is Stranding's father, and the Woodland Realm, and Lorien actually, which is Lorinand.
Well, yeah, I know that. I get that. I played it, but the Merkless flag is more. I think is more Yavana's Union than Divide and Conquerors is. So that's why I was looking for it.
Yeah, we need something that unifies the two, not.
Yeah, I don't see.
Okay.
In general, I am in favor of having something which is like a tree. Because this is the main
Right, so.
Wow.
Now, this one is horrid quality, but it may function. I've sent in an VC chat for you guys to check out.
Okay.
The other contender is this crop flag image from a thumbnail.
Very nice. I believe the flag is better.
Yeah.
To me, the flag is better.
Yeah.
And also with the golden color that have the armors of Galadriel.
Right here. Flag it is.
Yeah.
Pop that in there. There we go. Have that right after the two.
Yep.
Hey, Dougie.
Hey,
little pupper.
Yeah, Pupper.
Ah.
Yoo-hoo!
You go, boy.
He's a
Being a little shit, though. Fucking, this little shit destroyed my fucking Red Dead 2 game.
Of course he did. What else would he do?
I put it down, and then I went out to go fill up the water bowls for the dogs, and then I come back and I find my Red Dead disc fucking bit into and bent.
Oof.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah. And I was almost done with the game too.
Oof. Double oof.
Big oof, my boy. Big oof.
You know what you do, you fuck. You know what you did, your shit. I'm gonna poop you.
The pooping commences.
Hey, stop licking you. No licks.
Is the stream ready yet?
I do believe so, yeah. I'm just
Ah.
double checking to make sure I have everything. There we go. I knew something was in the wrong position. Right, yeah. Okay, I have it organized now. Beautiful.
Okay. Because I need the starting stream in the stream in Twitch.
Yeah, I'm perfectly aware. I was just finishing organizing everything and all that jazz.
Okay, man.
That's right. These tier lists are a shit show for me.
Alright.
Alright, everybody. We're finally ready.
Oh, perfect.
Amazing.
Baba.
Yeah, it's just 11 minutes in. Alright, so how do we feel about the Anduin Vale?
First, I'm gonna ask a simple question. Has any of you played Anduin Vale other than Garvin?
I have.
I completed the campaign of Anduin Vale.
You complete a campaign of Garvin? Where am I playing?
At the end. Oh my god! I
haven't finished.
Sorry, I am not.
I just straight up quit. I just straight up quit from playing Anduin Vale.
I didn't know I was so easy. You could say you're completing a campaign of me.
Okay.
Alright.
I have seen an Anduin campaign
I've
from
completed a couple of
Hell.
campaigns on the Anduin Vale.
Wait. Who's the one gonna speak first? So we don't want to voice in chaotic.
I'll let Nikos go first.
Okay, thank you. Well, I have seen a campaign played by Asher complete campaign with Anduin Vale, and I can say that it has a very rough stuff. Yeah. Very rough start, to be more specific, because you have the Goblin, you have Gundabad, you have Dol Guldur. It's 3 enemies and completely encircling you. Small economy, very weak, pretty average to bad settlement quality. Your starting regions are pretty much okay, but later in the game you don't progress. They have an interesting script about the mountain passes, but I feel it's incomplete. It doesn't give you something to pursue it from the beginning. You can actually rush and take the high pass, which is Goblin Town. However, then you get in touch with Angmar, and Angmar adds to the campaign difficulty because you have another enemy, a 4th one. The armies are weak. They have average armor, and the split barracks is a bit puzzling to me. It is a very complex mechanism that can also be avoided, in my opinion. It is complex, the Bjorning barracks, the Woodman barracks, the Eotheod barracks. It is very complex to combine them to, if you do want to. So I believe it is either low B or high C. Perhaps it's higher C, but most possibly lower B.
I see.
So some can say that because of the low quality of the units, they are wild men. They have a very difficult start. They can fall down in C.
I see. Otar?
Okay. I believe I have completed I've completed 2 to 3 campaigns, and I do agree with Nikos in that their campaign start is rather rocky. Most of their mid to high tier units are actually not that bad. Unlike Nikos, I do like the split barracks. I think it gives them more flavor. However, it is one of the more unique factions. It can go into the forest and help out Mirkwood, in which you get even more units. If I remember correctly. Yeah. I haven't played in a while, so my memory is a bit rocky on this. You get, I think, a couple more. I think you might get a general or two doing that. I don't remember. That'll be more for the Mirkwood and Lorien side, because they get another script as well. I do like the Mountain Pass script. However, it is pricey. It's very pricey.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. I didn't say it is bad.
Yeah.
I didn't say it is bad, but it feels incomplete. Get something is specific to you and gives you a great boost. You need it. That's what it needs more. Please continue.
Yeah. Angmar being another faction to fight is not too inconsequential, because they might just ignore you entirely. And because by the fact that they're also fighting in Ladris, they're fighting Rhûn, they're fighting 3, they're fighting the Rangers. You coming in is really just for the goblins to fight, and not not for Angmar. Your main focus in this is Gundabad and the goblins and Dol Guldur, who are quite dangerous in the beginning, and then when you can build up your forces, they're less and less of a threat, I would say, because you have skin changers, you got Bjornings, you got pretty decent cavalry, pretty decent archers, pretty decent woodmen.
Warriors, don't forget them. They're very, very good.
Yeah, the woodmen, the warriors. Your skin changers are probably your best unit, apart from the Veil Defenders, if you still have them there. Veil Defenders, we get pikemen, even though they're very AOR, I think. They only come from Daeon's halls, I think. Because they have the Carrick, I believe.
Yeah, they're tied to the rock in the river.
Yeah, the Karok, Karok, yes.
All in all, I do agree with Nikos on their ranking, but I might put them in mid B tier, because they also get a unique resource in honey, or the beehives.
Yeah,
that makes their economy a bit better when you can build up their beehives, and they can basically build them almost everywhere in their heartlands, apart from Roscobel. If I remember correctly, because you also have hobbits. I think they might still be there in this mod. I'm not too sure.
I have to correct you on that one. There is no hobbit on the store.
Okay.
I think those stores have been removed. You still have the Hobbit General, and you still has the Hobbit trait, the one that gives really good farming boost, but you don't have the Hobbit units anymore.
Do we still have the
warrior? That wooden warrior, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and
do we still have the Hobbit village there?
I think it was removed.
I think it was.
I think it was removed.
Okay, so then that doesn't really hit the economy too hard, I guess. But other than a decently hard early game, if you can get out of the early game, then you can basically soar.
Yeah.
You just have to watch out for castellans, anything with anything with good range offense because they don't have good armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
But other than that, yeah, I think high C, mid B tier for the Anduin Vale.
Right here. Oblivion, your opinion?
And I actually agree with both Nikos and Ozark the assessment. Since I also played the Anduin Vale like three times. The first attempt, it was out of failure. I had to had to save skill myself on turn one.
Yeah.
Just to had to do
Uh,
better. The only thing different from EU, a bit different from DAC and doing Veil to the EUR is that you have playable Radagast that
mhm.
that will save your ass.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
have a
know that.
Radagast with
Yeah, the
Ent.
Ents.
An Ent
Yeah.
bodyguard, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
and bodyguard.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seriously, get
he
the
ha-
faction air and Celery on that bastard, and God, it'll cost you a lot, but that'll be a big boost.
I think that
he
kind of fucks.
Yeah, it fucks hard.
Radagast as a bodyguard. He gives you as a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
For one, he's very powerful in the early game. As far as I can tell, he he's sit he's right beside his the faction heir on the region, and then you can go and rush to attack high pass with
Mm-hmm.
with Radagast alone. Alongside with a couple of units,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll be very strong, but do not be reckless of using him. He will
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah, his model is not an Ent. It can get stuck,
Well,
and it will always lag behind its Ent bodyguard. If they're running over a long distance, the longer distance you run over, the further he'll lag behind. Which can be good
yeah.
if you're trying to get the bodyguard into melee and over the longest distance, he's perfectly safe somewhere yonder. As long as there's no cav or archer or anything to pick him off. Because that can actually save your ass. That saved my ass in one battle where I basically had just him and one other boy in the big ass enemy army. The fact that he kept lagging behind and never actually joined the melee managed to save me because I was able to rush the Ant bodyguard in and out of combat. But if you're not expecting it to happen, he can get caught in really bad situations, like behind enemy lines as you're trying to retreat your run a bodyguard
Yeah.
out, and then suddenly
Yeah, see, that's why you have other units.
yeah. Like it can be a scenario where basically you're running through the enemy, he escapes with the bodyguard, goes all through because the ant you basically toss everyone over, and then he's behind the enemy, but then he's lagged behind. You run right back, and then like a couple minutes later, you see that despite your ants being out of combat, suddenly see they're fighting, and you're like, wait, who are they fighting? Then you get his death message.
And not to mention, when it comes to EUR, they also added new units for Anduin Vale compared to Anduin Vale DAC version. They added additional two Mirkwood units, two Elven units, the Sylvan units that are also be recruitable according to the Discord username Morag, if I remember correctly, on EUR Discord. He told me that it is also recruitable instead of your typical, a single elf can only be recruitable in Dogodur.
Yeah.
They actually expanded upon it, but for the woodland barracks.
Yes, possibly.
Okay, so pause for 1 second. I'll still be here, but I'm gonna be muted. I will be giving my input on some stuff for going forward on the factions.
Okay.
So I won't be totally gone.
Rightio. So Oblivion. I'm assuming the ability to recruit the woodland sentinels, I think they're called.
No, as I'm actually referring to this. Two units that I'm referring to this one. I'm sending it to the Discord chat.
Okay. Let's see
If
here.
you, it is still processing on my end.
And tell me the channel so that I can
go to the EUR and go to the good faction changes. Go to the very.
with
You
faction
will see.
changes,
You will see.
Anduin Vale.
Yeah, you will see the new changes that I'm talking about. That looks like an elf. They added two more. They added additional two more. That's what I'm referring to.
Okay, let me see here.
Something I see. I see the bears. I can see the end catapult. Yes, it's
Yeah.
elves they are.
Yeah,
Yeah. So therefore.
I see.
So
Yeah,
therefore.
yeah.
So therefore, they became much more good. But since I quit, but since I played Anduin River 3 times, and I didn't finish playing it because I feel boredom. At the same
Yeah.
time, I feel overwhelmed, so therefore I did not finish playing Anduin River. But the units alone, based on the screenshot, based on the images that I just sent you, is very good enough. It's a big upgrade, especially you get your bodyguard Bjorn. He body pierce your enemies to a javelin, and you get a skin changer version of it that massacre your enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean something like Mazog in your Gundabad campaign, Garwen.
Yeah.
It is something
So
like this.
from what
I
I'm
still
seeing
remember this.
here, there could be 2 or 3 elven units in here, and a
Yeah,
javelin,
three elven
a
units.
two-handed axer, and a bowman.
Huh.
The one of the two hooded, so therefore that is three elven units. One is your sylvan units. Oh, we could only be recruitable from Doguldur, and the other two, I think, that is from what he told me, is recruitable outside of Doguldur.
Yeah.
If
And,
I'm
and also
going.
I remember. Yes, please.
I'm going to assume that they are in the AOR unit, but
I
they
see,
but they aren't only recruitable in Dol Guldur. That's the bow one, I'm assuming, but they are recruitable anywhere in Mirkwood, basically.
yeah, assuming, yeah, that's what I,
Hey,
that's what.
Goldrings, how you doing, my boy? It's wonderful to have you
And
here.
Hey man,
I gotta agree when it comes to Nikos when it comes to the incomplete version of.
there are also two more units from the Framskar Spearmen and Framskar Axemen. I scrolled a bit up from that post to see
Yeah.
them. These are also added and they are very good. I suppose that they are AOR as well.
It goes just fine, Goldrings. Now, Ozark is currently away for a moment. He's still in here. He just has to go deal with something real quick. He'll be back to help us review the other factions in a moment. Currently, we're going over the Anduin Vale. And it seems to be, from what everyone said so far, that there's 3 elven units you can recruit. 1 only in Dol Guldur, another 2 anywhere in the woods in Mirkwood, basically. Also the 2
Yeah.
ant units in the bear.
Yeah, that's what I remember. So that's what I
Hey, you
remember. So
attacked me long before they betrayed you, Goldrings. Beautiful to hear. Just be
so
careful about the pub.
therefore
Yeah, Joe?
so therefore for my ranking, considering I agree with Nikos, but I'll bit higher to make it as B tier to C, B tier to highest C.
I see. I can
The
definitely
only
see why. Personally, my view of the Anduin is that I really like the split barrack system because it actually makes you think what units do you want and where do you want them. Because the archer line, basically the woodsmen, they get an increased in replenishment. For example, in woods, the Bjornings I don't remember, and the horsemen not in mountains or in woods. I think the Bjornings get a bit of a boost in mountain areas, also plains. I don't remember. All I know is woodsmen, woods.
I think
Makes
it's
sense.
from the mountains. I think it's from the mountains.
The
They get a.
burnings are on the mountains and the plains are
It also makes sense in lore wise
Yeah.
since
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that would make sense. The woodsmen get a replenishment boost in the woods. The Bjornings get a replenishment boost in the mountains, and the Othioid, the horsemen, get a replenishment boost on the plains.
Yes. I believe
Goldrick's already
so
at
it
99 hours. Bloody hell, man! You've been playing non-stop.
Well, this is enjoying it.
Yeah, this is. Really glad you are, man. Last time you were here, you only had 10 hours. But yeah. I really like
continue, please.
Yeah, I really like the split barrack system. It adds a lot of variety and some complexity and makes you actually think a bit more. And it also allows you to have a much bigger roster with a bit of customization of where you want your people, basically. I really do like that.
And also it gives you a bit of roleplay wise.
Yeah.
Like for example, if you put a Bayon as the Bayon barracks, it sticks with the Bayon. If you pick it with the Fenholm, you pick it with the Woodland, and you get the Woodland troops. So on and so forth.
Yeah, I really do like it. Now, yeah, the Bjornings, surprisingly tough, man. Like they are fitting of being descendants of bears, man. They're fucking tough. Yes, they aren't a match for the dwarves, the elves, or some of the mid to later Numenorian units. Okay, but the early to mid Bjorning units can keep up with the early to mid Numenorian units, at least Gondor wise, which is really bloody good. Like, yeah, 1-to-1, they do fall in this or that aspect, but they are competitive. There's argument to be made there. Overall, Gondorian units are superior, I would say. Even if only because they have more numbers.
Out of all the Wildman faction, the Anduin it surprisingly surpasses out of all the three. Considering the fact that based on the roster alone, and they can toe to toe with early to mid tier other factions.
Yeah.
And don't forget the other units are AOR, but surprisingly good.
Yeah. Also, Gold Rings, I mean, hey, if you ever want to do like a co-op campaign, not really possible, sure, but I'm perfectly fine with eventually throwing together a kind of hot seat campaign for my community here. And even if not that, then just some multiplayer battles. Always do those. Those can be so much fun. But that's for another time. The Anduin, out of all the Northmen and Middlemen factions, they are the most superior troops when it comes to the Bjornings. If you want, and when it comes to wild men, like the Dunlendings, the Enedwaith, and even Dale to a degree, the Woodsman, that's the more expected quality there. Like the Woodsman line, that's the line that you go to for a good combination of it good enough and quick returns on investment. Also, the archers are really good there. They outclass just about anything except Dale. But the Woodsman melee line, that is the quality you would expect out of, like, for example, Dunland, Enedwaith, and some of the early to mid Dale units, When you get to the Bjornings, that's when your infantry outclasses all the other humans with the exception of Gondor. And, the other Numenorian factions,
And dwarves, probably.
Well, I mean, we're not counting dwarves here. We're talking about humans. Come on, man. We can't go like, yes, this faction, I'm sorry, but its infantry is worse than the best infantry faction in the game. Trash tier.
yeah. Hey, true.
It's fucking hilarious to think about. That's one of the gold rings. You are right that they do stagnate a little when it comes to settlement development, but that is only if you don't focus on the mountain watch top buildings. Like if you build enough of them and get them to a certain point, you will be able to upgrade your settlements to cities and large cities, which
The
is really
maximum
good.
point when it comes to the maximum. I'm sorry, but the maximum point for the said buildings is 100 points. Five from lowest is 5 points, and the highest is like 10 to 20 points. So if you added like 5 settlements from near the mountain area, it stacks up, and you get easily get 100 if you solely focus it very hard.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you should be able to eventually upgrade your settlements to a further degree. But here's something that I think a lot of people don't take into account when it comes to the Wildman factions that can't upgrade higher than large town. It's something everyone seems to overlook. They always go, they can't go higher than large town. They suck. They stagnate. Every single building on your roster is large town or below. You get to large town, you can build everything. And you're competitive militarily and economically with every other faction, basically. The only thing you're not competitive in is population, which reduces taxation, but that's not where the majority of money comes from. Yes, it's a chunk of it. Like, it's like a second or third of it. But it's not until like the late game where that becomes too much of a factor when towns and when a village and town start to become like cities. That's when you start falling behind. But by that point, you should have built you on a what are they called? The watchtowers enough to be able to upgrade to that. Like, it's not as much of a handicap as people think it is. Yes, it's a handicap defensively because you don't get stone walls. But economically and militarily, it really isn't. You have everything you could possibly need, and it's even an advantage. You don't have to wait for your settlements to get to a higher level. You don't have to wait for that population to get your last tier line of units, or to get the last armor for your barracks, or to upgrade your trade buildings as high as they can go. You don't have to wait for that. It's a huge advantage that people never seem to take into account, and I don't understand why.
Simple, really. They just only view it as they only focus on the other things, not the minor details.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah, that's true.
it feels like people see can't upgrade to city and just go, they can't get any city level buildings then. No, that's not right at all. The faction is made to function at just large town and below. Every single building unlocks there. Yes, there are buildings you don't get until you get to city level or some such, but that's not your mainline build. That's not your buildings. That is called a bonus and a boost and a reward for achieving your goal and and progressing. Been waiting for video 3.0. I'm sorry, Gold Trinks, but speaking as someone who's been waiting since Medieval 2 came out, I don't think we're ever getting it. And even if we are, I'm not sure I would want it. Not with Creative Assembly the way it is right now.
I'd rather have what we have today.
Yeah,
Stick.
I'll be honest with you.
Now, and let's not forget, the whole premise of the Anduin Veil is to secure your borders.
Yeah.
Secure your borders. And once your borders has been safe and you establish watchtowers into a fortress, you
I'm
you're
here.
allowed you're allowed to you're allowed to able to upgrade your large towns into cities and
Yeah.
and a stronghold. Once you finish that said script, it's not even pampering you. It's just an option for you if you really want to go ham and fast.
Yeah. Like, it's honestly really good the way it is. Like, I'll be honest with you. It also
Hey,
features the
Kat.
roleplay. Yeah, Cat is here, and I'm very happy. Izzy won't be able to play as the Crusades at night. That's true. But yeah, like the funny thing is here, the Anduin's rough start does pull it down in the tier list because of what difficult it is. But it's also exactly that rough start that makes it so fun for me. That rough start is what excites me to play an Anduin campaign the most, you know? Like, once I get past the rough start and things have stabilized, I'm nowhere near as interested as I used to be. But,
I had to agree with you on that one.
yeah.
But I also
agree
the
with
reason
this.
why I quit is
Yeah.
because of what
I
Yeah,
also agree with this indeed.
Yeah, like, even for me, playing the Anduin is tough. Okay? Like, I never did finish that campaign I was playing with Navy the Anduin. I don't remember what happened to that. I actually do not. Did I just get distracted and forget about it? What happened with that? When did we stop?
Nicholas, you're the one who watched most of Garvin's stream. You should the one who remember it. I forgot.
Yes, I do remember. I would go to the whole of the Anduin. Vale.
Yeah.
Anduin Vale, yes, he goes down to the ether. I still remember this, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But
Like,
it was a rough start, and then suddenly it was a boom. Shite going down. If it was not for Lorien and Gondor to stop him, then he would really reach down to the ether completely.
I
I
see.
still remember this.
Yeah, but do you remember why I stopped playing the campaign? Did I say anything about it, or did it just suddenly stop? Did I just get distracted?
Uh, Actually, it was at a time when we had quite some campaigns running, and you
Ah,
started some. So,
I
though I believe
see. Okay,
that
yeah. I overwhelmed myself basically and just burned
yes,
out.
exactly, it was right after Gundabad,
Yeah.
that Gundabad campaign, and then you started what I say. You started the Gondor campaign with the
Mm.
challenge of not expansion until you get the ring.
I see, I see. Okay, yeah.
Overwhelmed, and then it was at the time when we had 3 campaigns running.
Yeah, I overwhelmed and burned myself out. I see, okay. Well,
Hmm.
So basically, we're gonna get a Anduin 2.0
yeah.
campaign.
Basically, we're gonna have to, because fuck, it was too much fun not to. But yeah, like, honestly, if not for the rough start of the Anduin, I would put it into A tier. It's a really strong faction. Like, and the and basically saying that if you take Goblin Town, you add another enemy to you is correct, but also not. Yes, you're still at war with the goblins, but because the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm hold Eastern Khazad-dûm, and they will last the entire bloody game, regardless of what happens. They will be the last faction to die, besides the Lemroth, if it still existed. Like, if the entire world gets taken over by Mordor, Khazad-dûm will be the last place to die, unless they get unlucky. You do not have to think about the Goblins of Moria for the rest of your campaign once the high patch is taken out. And now you no longer need to defend 3 of your settlements from the goblins at the same time. Maybe
Yes.
even 4 if you take EUR. You just have to defend the high pass from a Fornost, and unless you don't take Earlstone, you then also have to defend the place behind the high pass, but that's a bit easier to defend.
I think that's the reason why I think I remember why I stopped playing Anduin other than the rough start. It's because the Ang mod, once I take high pass and I manage to stabilize myself, Ang mod just suddenly, well, hello there. Take my high pass, and that is when I stopped playing.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, but that was a misstep on your department. The fact that you took the high pass, you should have known Angba was on the other side. They would want it. They're going to
Yeah.
attack you. You should have known that. You should have prepared at least a 5-stack garrison there, you know? Like
Yeah,
just a
right.
ballista or catapult, some infantry to hold the line, some archers, a ballista or a catapult specifically, and a general. With just that, you can hold back most all armies that Angmar will send at you.
Plus, and even you take it high path, you can actually just send your diplomat and make peace with the goblins with a chunk load of money, and the rest you just focus on dealing with Gundabad and Doguldur.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of where your main priority was:
yeah,
destroy Gundabad with high economy, or destroy Doguldur with less annoying. But
yeah,
the downside is you're bringing Mordor into the mix
yeah,
once.
yeah. Like I'll be completely honest with you.
That's true.
My advice, always hit the high pass first. You don't need a full army to take it. Never spend a full army like I did to take it. I completely misjudged that. I was just not used to the faction. Only thing you need is Radagast, your faction heir, and 3 other units. Now, yeah, like 2 infantry and 1 or 2 archers. That's the entire thing you need to take the high pass. Let them sally out at you, even with the trolls and the entire enemy garrison there. You'll be fine. Actually, I'd recommend 3 archers. Better safe than sorry, you know.
Yeah. Now, are we on an agreement? The final verdict.
B. Yeah. Like, and the rough start pushes it down to mid to low
High
B.
B, mid B.
Yeah. The rough start pushes it down to mid to low B. But if you can get past the rough start, it has potential for high B, low A.
Potentially wise, yes.
Yeah.
Now, which faction are we gonna vote? Which faction are we gonna argue next?
Dale.
Ah, yes. I played Dale. But but I'm gonna ask any of you. Have any of you played Dale?
I have. I'm currently playing a Dale campaign in my downtime.
Yes, I have
Yeah.
a couple times at least.
I think the three of us know that Dale has before the buff economy. It
Mm.
was economically wise. It was hard, even
Yeah.
even if you put your units into the forts and play it smartly economy. But as soon as you remove said units from the forts, everything just go downhill.
Yeah. Like, honestly, starting out with Dale, you kind of have to play a bit defensive using the forts, only moving your units into your settlements when you see the enemy coming to you. It's painful, but it does allow you to build up your starting settlements really well for quite a time, as long as you're willing to turtle like that.
Yep, and not to mention, you get to settlement quality wise.
Mm.
We started out with huge cities at the start,
Oh yeah,
both Escalon and Dale.
yeah, it's really bloody good. Like you start off with 2 huge settlements, a village, and a town, and right next to you, you're able to take another town and is it a castle or a moat and bailey?
Is Mountain Bailey that is
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Mountain Bailey.
yeah. The village equivalent of the castle tier.
Yep,
Yeah,
Hmm.
like
I think it's Bertram. Yes, Bertram. Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, yeah. Like you basically get 2 rebel settlements for free, which brings you to a 7 settlements, and then you can, if you really want to, push down into Rovanion to take that settlement from an Dol Guldur that borders Esgaroth to completely block them off from there and the Woodland Realm
Ah, you
capital.
mean Burhalce?
Yeah, that one. You can take that
But
one. I'm not sure I would recommend it. I haven't tested it out. I don't know how viable it is, but in my mind, I can see it being a really good idea. The only problem is the lack of forts in the immediate area to keep your units free upkeep to move them in and out.
Hmm.
Burrouge has a fort. It's just on top. It's just on top. It's just a bit the left side, but north left side. And there's a fort,
Hmm.
and that's it. Just a single fort.
Okay,
If you
let
get
me
a
let me rephrase there then. The only downside is a lack of safe fort.
yes, that is true.
Yeah,
The only state ports you got are just both Dale, and that's it.
yeah,
Another state port that is the region of Bermaling.
yeah. Like in a even if you go east and take the town and hold there, there's a fort right behind it you can use. That's fine. And then if you bring your boat down, there's another fort across the river in Rovanion that's almost always safe. You can have 8 units free upkeep in those 2 forts, have the boat down there, and then move the units with the boat over, and usually you can reach the other settlement in a singular turn. If you misclick, it's just 2 turns, and with how far your border goes, you should be able to keep a watchtower there to give you at least 3 turns warning if Rhûn is sending an army up there. So you have enough time to put your units in there, and they make a strong front and have Rhûn go, nah, we can't take that, go away, and then put them back. And then just repeat whenever they start making approach, because you don't start a war with them. It buys you a lot of time against Rhûn, where they just go, oh, it's free, oh, it's open. Oh, wait, there's 8 more units in there. I don't wanna, let's go away. It's surprising how effective that is.
Now, what can we talk about the unit quality of Dale?
The unit quality of Dale, I'm gonna be honest, like, the Northmen, surprisingly good. The Northman militia, you know. AP, it's a complete trash unit, but it's armor piercing.
You mean the Riverman?
No. Northman militia is...
No.
There's 2 trash units. There's the Rivermen and the Northman militia. The Rivermen throw
Yes,
javis. The
Northman
Northman
militia.
militia are a melee unit with big-ass axes.
Yep.
They're really viable
And
to
the other one
break
is
on
the
you.
Riverman.
They're pretty darn weak in combat. They die in droves, but they have killing power if you get them against the right units. They're also your most accessible AP unit in the entire game, as a faction at least.
Yep.
They're surprisingly cost effective. Now, when it comes to the Dale line, the Dalian swordsmen, the Dalian billowmen, and all those, I am routinely disappointed by them. They die so fast. It's sad. Like, I make a whole ass army of just Dalian units, you know? Like, I have some Rovanian Gautrauts in there, have the Dalian Billmen, Dalian Swordsmen, Dalian Cavalry, and some Dalian Longbow, and I'm like, oh, this is good. I'm gonna go strike out, and I go through, like, I take out 2 Dol Guldur stacks, and suddenly, I take out 2 Dol Guldur stacks that are assaulting the Wood Elf capital, and then after that battle, I look at my army and I go, I can no longer go and take that settlement down there. This army is too butchered.
And by the time that you retrain them and recruit them,
Yeah.
the South is a little bit reinforced.
Yeah, Dol Guldur has another 3 armies coming my way, but they used to only have 2. It's kind of hilarious, really.
Possibly it's the Gambes on the relative instead of the metal armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, your armor is only 4, which is not a lot, but you are able to upgrade them 2 to 3 more times. So you end up with an armor of like 6 to 7, which is actually good. Like, it gives you a decent front line. The only problem is you have to build up your blacksmithy to get there. And if you don't do that, you end up with an army of really, really expensive units that when you use them, you lose them.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I played there 2 times, and I can agree with that.
Oh yeah.
And
that's a problem with the Dalian units.
Yeah.
And that was just the tier 1.
Yeah. Like, That was just their tier 1, which,
just...
funnily enough, their tier 1 is what I would describe as their main line.
Yes.
Like, you have airborne infantry in the airborne line. Then you have the Dalian line. That's their main line. That's the first professional line, basically. It's sad
Yes,
that they're
there
like
should
this.
be something better. There should be something better.
I do agree there should be something better, but it really fits with the motif they're going with a faction. You're a ruined kingdom. You're an economic ruin. You can get your units out there, but if you don't spend the money to build up your military, basically fund the military, don't build up the barracks, they won't be worth it. It really fits with a roleplay, because just like you're rebuilding your cities, rebuilding your economy, you have to rebuild your armies. Like, Dale, more than any other faction, relies on you building your blacksmith line to make your main line viable and actually good. Like,
and yes, do not forget when it comes to Dale, it hasn't been much change other than increase of units.
yeah,
And one additional unit that is called a Dale Paladin, a Dalian Paladin. That is your elite armored AP unit.
yeah. I'm not sure to feel about them. I haven't gotten to play around with them yet, but looking at their the picture of them, the lore stuff I see, and the stats, I'm not sure I like them. They don't fit for me. Maybe I'll change my mind if I actually get to play with them, but they don't feel right for the faction.
Okay, since I play with Dale, and when I'm playing, I think the paladins,
Yeah?
I say they're decent. And they can toe to toe with snow orcs. Yes,
That's pretty good.
even their mainline units they can toe to toe, but at the expense they will lose a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dale is a larger faction.
Yeah, Dale faction
That's
as a
true.
whole,
You keep
their whole
distance and
shtick
hit with
being
archer.
Yeah.
their whole stick being horse. Their archer focused nation.
Yeah.
A ruin but archer focus.
Yeah. Dale's whole thing is his
Yes.
archers. Like, your infantry, it's never gonna win you the battle. Unless you're getting lucky and you're really good. Like, unless you build your blacksmithing line, your infantry is never gonna win you the battle. It's probably gonna hold against Dol Guldur's big ass armies. You're going to have to expect to lose 60 to 80% of your infantry line against any Dol Guldur army, basically, because they're gonna take a fuck ton of a beating. But your archers are going to be killing the Dol Guldur units in fucking droves. Your first tier archer, the first one you get, the Dalian Longbowman, beautiful, man. And that's not to mention the fact that you get access to 2 armor-piercing archers. Your general and the Hearthguard. And the Hearthguard is probably your best mainline unit.
Yes, the hard guard. Yes, they are very.
Not only that, they're also your spear.
In the ass.
Yeah.
Yes, spears.
Spear archer.
Like, they're so fucking beautiful, man. Like, if you get like 3-4 Hearthguard, put them in there with your main line, have them as the center of your army, let them shoot as the enemy is approaching, and then they get into melee, and let them hold. They will be there until the end of days.
True.
Meanwhile, your ranger doesn't have AP but has a long range, and they will did so much damage for you.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And Dale has the horse guard. That is the archer cavalry. The archer cavalry.
Oh, it's so good. Like, it's beautiful, really. Like, the Hearthguard is a beautiful mixed unit. When it comes to the Hearthguard, never fall into the trap that I always do. Do not treat them like archers. Treat them like your mainline infantry unit with a ranged bonus.
While me, I just fall in the trap, but for a good reason. I only use them when I'm out of arrows and put them
Yeah.
immediately on front lines.
Yeah.
I will.
I usually end up doing that too, but there is one issue. If you do that, they're not engaged with the enemy with like targets that they need to be, which leads to you losing way more of your actual infantry. It's gonna get ground down while you're not using them in melee. If they're
Yep,
in
and that is
melee, they can save so much of your infantry just by having the enemy focus on them.
yes. And let's not forget when it comes to Heart Guard, there are your AOR units.
Yeah,
They only came from the north, that being your Eskarov and Dale alone. I
yeah,
don't remember
Yes.
you can recruit. I don't think you can recruit other than Heart Guard from Rasgard, Burma Linge. Essentially, just your two settlements, and that's
yeah.
it.
Like they come from your heartland, which is Dale and Eskarov. That is your heartland. That's why they call it the Hearth Guard. They are the guardians of the hearth, the guardians of the home. Home and hearth, that's there for a reason. Where the hearth is,
Yep.
that's where the home is. They guard the hearth. The Hearth Guard.
Hey, that's nice. That rhymes. Still, that's the reason why I don't. I fell to trap the whole
Yeah,
use them as archers, but at the same time, I will use them necessary when it comes to melee.
yeah, yeah. It's a really hard trap to break. No, I'm not having a
The
stroke,
other
Traxia. Don't worry about it. I was making a point and having fun with the wordplay. Like,
But your
I.
marksman, it was your if you want your mainline archers, that'll be your marksman. They're not as long range when it comes to your rangers, they are Tala rangers, but they can be good in
Oh yeah,
they can be decently good. They can be decent in melee.
yeah,
They will just lose more troops.
yeah. Like,
And Lake Town pikemen, don't don't be misled. They're called Lake Town. They're actually recruitable anywhere.
yeah, like the Lake Town pikemen, the marksman archers. I don't remember the actual name. The marksmen,
Body and
the
marksman.
Barding
Bardian
marksman.
marksmen, and
Barding.
the Dalian swordmasters. That is your actual mainline. That's your tier 2. Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as you're able, replace your tier 1 with those. Like, yes, you may be a bit about not having a shielded mainline. That is fine. You're going to outrange the enemy in every situation unless you're betraying the good factions. At that point, I'm sorry, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah. Like you as Dale, you don't need shields to be good. If the enemy has archers, get your cavalry to disrupt them or head to a shooting match with them. You're going to win. Don't let your infantry get shot at. Their job is to get in contact with the enemy infantry, hold that line while your archers shoot over them or get around the flanks and the cavalry harasses their backs. That is how you win battles as Dale, with minimal losses. For the Dalian line, the tier 1, you have to upgrade your barrack, your blacksmithings. Do that, they will survive and they will be worth the cost that they ask you to pay at last. And hell, they'll actually overperform their cost a little bit.
And surprisingly, when it comes to your Robanian Gatrot, despite being restrictedly AOR, they're
Mm,
surprisingly good. Even if you upgraded them,
mm.
they are in between tier one to tier two in
Yeah,
terms of your shield, in
yeah.
terms of your shield units.
Oh yeah. Like I'm gonna be completely honest. The Rovanian Gutrouts, they are tier 1. I think without the armor upgrades, they're around tier 1.3, 1.4 maybe. With armor upgrades, they hang around tier 1.5 to 1.8, depending. And they basically will take up the spot that your Dalian swordsman used to take on in your mainline armies. They're readily available because Rovanian is such a big fucking region, and that's generally where you're gonna end up going. And they also fit well in with your other main line. Like you have pikes, you have pikes to hold the absolute center. You have the swordsmen to come around the flanks and shock the enemy. And then you have the Rampend Trouts to help support the front lines. Mix them in with the pikemen if you have to. Have them just on the flanks of the pikemen if you don't have enough of them. Those, like the pikemen and them are gonna hold. The Rampend Trouts are gonna give out before the pikemen are, usually, unless the pikemen are flanked. But you shouldn't be battling long enough for that to happen, unless you're in trouble.
Yep. Hello, Nagathon.
Hey, Nagathon.
Hey, V1. How you doing, me boy?
I'm doing fine, my man. I'm literally currently on my lunch for work, but it is almost about to end. I got at least like 3 minutes left. So I just come by, say hi for a little bit, and then when it's time, which I got some time to kind of see what's going on.
Okay. Do you want to give like your thoughts on Dale's rankings? If you don't have time to tell us about it, then just tell me where do you think it would be?
So yes, actually. So I've played Dale in the expanding Eurasa mod. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. And through my playthrough, I will say for the new units specifically, and only one as I've seen, the Dalian Paladins, pretty good. And I'll say Dale overall. Dale, as we know, is quite challenging for his finances. However, good archers, as we know. Hearthguard, very good. All that jazz. And I'll say for like this beginning tiers, like for his Dalian Swordsmen, with very good draughts, and the Halberds, the Billmen.
Yeah.
They're not bad. They're decent. But when you get to the tier 2, of course, like for example, the what's the word? What's the word? Well, I guess tier 3, I guess. So yes, that's a tier 2 is the Dalian boys.
Barding marksmen?
Yes. Those guys. Yes. So when we get to tier 2, those are a little bit better. For the pikemen, the attack for the pikes on those guys is of course low, which I don't really like, which I guess is fair.
I mean,
but I kind of thought
pikemen are balanced around the pikemen animation, which triples their attack because 3 spears are attacking every single unit at the same time. So you see that number, as long as you're using them right, with the pikeman, the spear wall, or the pikeman animation, you're basically tripling that attack.
The only downside when having a general V2 shit is your late down pikeman. He will die a lot. He will die immediately.
Oh, I know. Here's the thing. I remember doing that too. I will say I did cheat a lot to make sure he stays alive through the campaign.
Hasn't that for me
so
yet?
I did that. Yes. So I'll say overall, for the Dale, overall, for the tier wise, I'll probably say between with of course new units and the late tier when they get to the end game, I will say the tier probably tier C a little bit. The only reason why is, for one, Dale for the beginning is of course struggling with the finances, because sadly for the finances,
you begin with a negative 215 King's Purse.
Yes, so I would say for Dale overall is a C, because for one, they're given a little bit too much challenge for like finances, and number two, you're literally faced with Dogodur and Rhûn, of course, as you're struggling with these, and number three, even though you're gonna excel to there as a challenge, I think of course they need to be giving Dale a little bit of love. And, as well, add more units to Dale, like new units to this newer version to make it better. Because Dalian Paladins, they were awesome. They were very good, armor piercing, they were tanky, they were good, and and I've used them before in the melee. They were awesome. They were good. They were very good, hands down. So Dale needs more love in order for Dale to be better. Like, make them tier A, make them tier S to make them better in EUR version 2. Add new units to Dale. So that way, they can make Dale better in terms of course, unit-wise, and fix their economy, even though it most likely will be. Make the beginning less challenging by fixing the economy, and I'll probably say give Dale what's what? Probably give Dale a turn limit. Like, I will say by turn 20. Give them that time limit for them to, of course, expand, learn their things, and then to 20, for example, they can say, hey, at turn 20, Kabul the Easterling sends an army to the capital. That'll give you the time to, 1, prepare your forces, number 2, build up your economy, and number 3, make sure you have a chance to win. And after that, it goes as normal. And I always say add scripts to Dale, because I noticed in the AGO, they have scripts, and they can get generals and units from, well, Elbow and Wooden Realm. Yeah. However, in EUR, sadly, no. So I would say transfer that into Dale also, so they can get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that one I actually agree with. They need more script. Now, I don't agree with I do not agree with fixing their economy. That is the whole point of the faction. Like, you literally...
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, see you in a bit, Osik. Like, your faction begins the game literally having just barely finished rebuilding the entirety of Dell and Escaroth after they were reduced to rubble by smog. You use your entire dwarven share to do that, and like people are not really trusting you yet. You're basically recovering financially.
Fair point. I did forget about that, so never mind. But I would say mainly the scripts is what they need to make Dale better.
Yeah. Oh, also,
make them
Nagato, and my boy Deep One. Gold Rings in here just said also, is that Chiefs? My Doister? What a legend!
Oh yes, that's me.
Yeah.
So yes, Goldrin, that's me, my Doister, aka Nargot on the Deep.
Yeah. We have Nargot on the Deep one.
YouTube channel, my Doister. Alright.
Alright, y'all. I'll see you later. I'm heading to work, but nice seeing you.
Yeah. It's been wonderful hearing your thoughts.
Of course, anytime.
Now it's my turn when it comes to Dale.
Now, before you do, let me just finish here real quick. I'm gonna go get some water for me, myself, and I'll hydrate real quick. I'll listen to Oblivion while he goes on his spiel. Oblivion, you're up.
Alright, when it comes to the Dale itself, I gotta agree with I understand the whole premise when it comes to Dale. You are a ruined kingdom. You are a ruined kingdom that you are financially being broke. You both Escalot and Dale has to be rebuilt from scratch to the tenth of the gold share with Erebor, and that's already been almost used to the rebuilding alone, the cost even. And that is
I also agree with this.
And that is where I'm okay with it. But if we're only talking about pre-buff EUR, since the buff EUR, the whole premise a bit flipped upside down. Not really, but a bit. Since they since they buffed the farms much more higher, to the point that it gives you even more. It gives you even more economy, surprisingly, but not a lot. I mind you, not a lot, but not a lot actually. but a lot, not a lot. At the same time, it gives you much more economy for Dale alone. And I think everyone for and Dale, out of all the factions, they have the most visual upgrades, including the low tier units like the Riverman and the
And go with the water.
Northern Militia. For as far it goes by tiers when it comes to the visual armor upgrades for Dale.
Hey, Spitty, A7. Beautiful to have you bastards here.
Tier 1, I forgot what they look like, but tier 2, when it comes to your tier 1 units, they will look like your Lake Town. They will look like your Lake Town pikemen, visually upgrade. And now your tier 2, they will look like your Wabanian Gadrots, but they will look like your Wabanian Gadrots. And that's it. And while and some of your units and your Wabanian Gadrots alone, they will be heavily upgraded visually wise.
Yeah.
And even then, while your tier 3 units, it doesn't need to be upgraded, they will still remain the same. But I will say they're good. So, but since with the buff upgrade when it comes to all factions, all across the factions, including Dale, it helps them greatly. I say they will be on the B tier, middle. The only reason why I put them is simple, is that I'm gonna be honest with you, lack of script really. The only script you get is the old allegiances, and that's it. You only get, and even that and EUR expanded from from eastern side. You get the dwarves and the eastern, while your elven units will strictly focus on Mirkwood, and that's it.
Yeah. I do agree for the most part. Yes, Spitty, and it was not in D, unfortunately. They don't deserve this dick.
You missed the previous stream. You missed the
we had the whole talk about them last stream, man. You should have been there.
Yes,
but yeah,
indeed.
like
okay. I'm gonna bit a brief rundown why we put C tier when it comes to Oblivious favorite faction. Oblivious. I will sell my favorite faction at the end of the stream.
gotcha.
But I will say this: the only reason why we put it NFWIP in the C tier is that they're a bit better when it comes to Dunland wise, and also the script as a whole.
Yeah,
the only
their
reason we
script's
did,
amazing.
and the only reason why we didn't, the only reason why we decided not to go up top when it comes to Moria is the settlement quality wise. At the same time, they out of all the factions they get outclassed. Simple as that.
They really do. Now, in regards,
NFWave is fun. I played NFWave. It was fun, and I do see merit of it. The only reason, that's the thing. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Now, in regards to Dale's economy, I do like it. Like, yes, the economy boost to everyone is, it can feel like it undermines the Rhûn economy aspect of it, but it really doesn't. Dale is the only faction in the entire game that not only doesn't have a king's purse, but has a negative king's purse. You're losing 250 gold every single turn just from the fact you had to rebuild everything. You're actively losing money. Every other faction in the game gets a king's purse, basically passive income of about somewhere between, the worst ones are at 500, while some of them can go up to like 2,500 to like 3,000 from the king's purse alone. The fact that you have a negative there is a huge negative. Because the King's Purge is what usually carries a faction in the early game. And it will always stay with you until you can actually rebuild your kingdom. And I think it goes away eventually. I don't know. I think the King's Purge becomes a plus.
I guess. But even then, Dale, as far as we know, Dale has not been revamped for EOR, but for DAC version 6, they will get revamped and they will get a lot of more script.
Oh,
So that will so EOR will get a similar trait, a similar position when it comes to Dale. It's just a matter of are they willing are they
Yeah.
willing to they import everything
Yeah.
when it comes to faction.
Nikos, what about you?
Excuse me, just a while.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Now, about Dale, from what I have seen is that, and from what I have heard, Dale has an equally difficult start as the Anduin Vale.
I'd say it has a harder start in a way. Harder in the fact that you are attacked by less people. No, sorry. Easier in the fact you are attacked by less people, but harder in the fact that you have no idea where to get your units from.
Yes, exactly. This is, in general, it is a hard start. This can be very challenging. The armies are not so good, something that is expected because of the economic situation. However, progressively, you have the opportunity to them and start your further expansion.
Yeah.
The lack of the lack of a script is something puzzling. You also have the heartland, which is in an okay-ish situation, so the settlement quality is not as good as your surrounding. A script that I would promote actually for Dale and Endorwinion is to the reforming of the kingdom of Rovanion, which would be, it would add a bit more flavor to both factions, but mostly Dale, because Dale is, I feel, the only faction that has actually no important script.
Yeah. Like, honestly, the reformation of the Kingdom of the Vanities should be Dale's script. It should be its special script. I can see why you would want it to be Dorvinius script too, but I feel like the only reason people say Dorvinians should be able to reform Dorvania is because they're usually the ones who spread into there, because they start right next to it and that's where they go. But they aren't Rovanian. They aren't people descended from Rovanian. They're a mixture of
they have the
DNA
same culture as the men of
yeah, they're a mixture of the Dark Elves and other Northmen. They're Dorvinian. They don't have a reason to become a whole other kingdom. They're already a proud, steadfast kingdom that, I'm gonna be honest with you, has a long and storied history and a great economy and pride. There is no reason I can see why Dorvinion would accept putting all that to the side, effectively demolishing the kingdom of Dorvinion in exchange for the kingdom of Rovanion. Why would they abandon their history for it? Like, they survived when it fell.
It is a point. It is a point, indeed. And so, for me, as it is Dale, it is for a seat. Possibly low B, but if you place them to be, because of the difficulty of the economy, challenging, the fact that you actually have to rebuild the kingdom inside the fighting, mostly with Rhûn.
Yeah.
It could be a bit higher between the Anduin and Harad.
Yeah.
If you decide to place them.
Yeah.
Or It is a sea.
And not to mention, when it comes, the only reason why there's gonna be the vinification or the vinification of Vavanian Kingdom or the rebirth Vavanian Kingdom is that Dale already has Vavanian Gadrots and the Horse Guard based on
Yeah.
their tech alone. It
Yeah.
only makes sense why Dale has it. The
Yeah.
Regent can do it. That's only just a side grade, but Dale should have that as well.
Yeah. Like, Dale is the only pure Northman faction in that region. It makes sense for them. Like, Dale is effectively just a group of refugees come together, establishing a kingdom, and that's based around two settlements that have been demolished at least once or twice in the very short span of time. And they've gone through crisis after crisis after crisis and overcome every single time. I can see them restoring the kingdom of Ravanu as a way to unite the surrounding lands, get more people to them, and establish themselves as a legitimate kingdom in the world.
And not to mention, you'll give them more script. For example, an extra armor upgrade that will
Yeah,
represent the
totally
kingdom
silly.
of Valiant identity. New units exclusively for said the kingdom of Valiant.
Yeah. Like, another thing they really need is honestly just they just need more stuff that integrates the dwarves and the elves, with them. Yes, they can recruit their units. That's already much bigger than it used to be. But I really, really wish that if you, like, with certain triggers, like if you fought with them, or if you gave them settlements, or maybe if you expanded and helped defend them, or I don't know, like time turns, chances, I don't know, like every now and again, like they would offer to they would basically the dwarves or the elves would basically offer to either give you some money or send you some troops, and you'd have to choose, like, because you are a ruined kingdom, you are actively struggling, and yet you're still able to send troops to them. Like, imagine this scenario. You're Erebor, the kingdom under the mountain. The Iron Hills are with you. You are strong. Hell, you're barely struggling against your foes. Yes, the numbers are a problem, but you are expanding. You are rich. And then there's Dale. Poor Dale. Its capital was demolished, abandoned, and taken over by a dragon. And then its new established home, Lake Town, that they built from the ground up, was burned down and crushed under the dragon's weight when they killed them after your mistake of releasing it. Basically, that's how they would view it. I would imagine they wouldn't admit to it, but that's how they would see it. And yet, despite that, this kingdom that was just two settlements should have honestly fallen apart, should have disbanded, should have repeated Ravanian's story, because there's barely any people left, came together, helped fight the Battle of Five Armies with you, with its last people, and even after that, it still didn't die. It still rose up, rebuilt goddamn Azeroth and Dell itself as well, re-established connections between you and the elves, and is actively fighting against Dol Guldur and Rhûn at the moment. And then this poor thing, this barely functioning, thing that's struggling to just breathe, comes up to you and says, "We have troops for you. We are here to aid you," gives you soldiers that it desperately needs. That, I could imagine the Arab would look at that and just go, "Oh," because that would speak to them as a nation, I would imagine. And so a couple turns later, they could come back to you and go, like, basically, they could come back to you. "We can give you money or troops. What do you wish for?" Like, basically, there would be this system back and forth where, like every couple turns, you could offer to give troops or money to either on a Erebor or the Woodland Realm. And if you decide to give troops, you'd actually have to assemble the troops and put them in a location for them to join the other faction. And depending on how many troops you give, the bigger the reward you get later. But the money you give is a fixed amount because that's easier. So a couple turns later, either the Erebor or the Woodland Realm will basically come to you and go, "Do you want troops or money? This is our thanks."
Yes, it could work the way you put it.
It could be really cool. Like, could you just imagine it? And if you chose troops, you're like like the first time you chose troops, you could get a general from the other faction basically with them. But next couple times it would probably just be troops. I don't know, but it could be really cool.
And so, where do you place them? After all of this that we have...
After all this discussion, I'm going to place them in C tier under the goblins.
Under the goblins.
Yeah. It's...
Because of their settlement quality.
No, their settlement quality is really good. The reason I place them under the goblins is very simple. Their first line of units, a tier 1, requires that you build a blacksmith for them to be worth it financially to use in battle. At least in the open field. And that is something I can see most anyone failing to realize and writing the tier 1 units off, the Dalian line off as useless. Because they just die so fast. It is something people do not realize. And if they don't do that, they're outclassed so heavily. Like, you're outclassed by Rhûn. And, let's be honest, for a long time also outnumbered by them. And then you're also outproduced by Dol Guldur. Heavily. You are royally fucked. It's so hard to function as Dale. I struggle a lot with them. But if you can get past that, I can see them in A or B tier. Probably the last in A tier. I'm honestly closer to mid B tier with them. Speedy, you'll be happy about this one. We're finally getting to a semi-elven faction. Alright, everybody, Dorvinian.
Yes. Yes, Dorvinian.
Dorvinian, my favorite. And actually, I did a bit of research. I did a bit of research when doing, actually for today or yesterday. I did a bit of research when it comes to Dorvinian.
Beautiful.
Okay, you talk first. I am second.
Right, yep.
Okay. History-wise, Dorvinian as a faction are very different to Dorvinian of today.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why, I'm gonna send you a bit of screenshot as an example.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you the image, the screenshot, and you can tell me based on the portrait alone, you see how different it is. Like, and you can guess what version of
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
VC chat.
Yes, got it.
Oh god, that's
That's
an old one. High Paladins, Rhûn, Pavan.
Pavan used to look like, and that was from version 1.
Yeah.
And I did a bit of ask when it comes to when did Dominion exist? And apparently Carl told me Dominion the earliest of Dominion existed is 0.1 public beta of DAC.
Oh Jesus. It's come a long ass way, man.
Yeah.
Very long.
The oldest factions ever.
Yes. And in terms of history-wise, they changed a lot from cavalry bodyguards to a melee one.
Mm-hmm.
Three stages: cavalry to Northmen restrictly Northmen to mix of Elven and Northmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
And keep in mind, Norwegian used to have a choice. They still have a choice, yes, but not tied to the settlement. It's what is by turns when it
Yeah.
comes to Norwegian. Now the reason now why I'm why I bring up when it comes to history of the Norwegian to here is simple. I did research of it
Yeah.
and I love the Norwegian as a whole. Now
Yeah.
I played Dorian a lot. You played Dorian as well, Garvin,
Oh
once upon a
yeah.
time.
I played it once upon a
And
time, yes. I played it in the early times of EUR when they first
Yes, your
introduced
first
the
EUR campaign, I
mixed
remember.
the mixed home guard unit before they redid the stats of everyone. When Rhûn
Yes.
still had AP runic warriors.
Yes, yes, I remember this. We were here together.
Yeah.
Hello? You guys hear
Hey
me?
And
Ozark.
Ozark as well.
Okay.
finally,
I thought you
alright.
guys couldn't hear me.
Ah, we couldn't hear until now.
Alright, before we're gonna give Ozark his point of view of what tier list when it comes to Dale before we're going back to Dorian.
Okay. So Ozark.
Okay, Dale. What do we...
We ended up
You
with
get
Dale in C tier under the goblins. Due to it that its difficult start, the trap its tier 1 Dalian infantry falls into with needing the blacksmith tree. Most people not realizing it. The fact that you're outnumbered and outclassed by Rhûn on your eastern front, and heavily outproduced and, depending on the unit, outclassed by Dol Guldur on the southern front.
Okay. That's okay. I think I can work with this. I would say high to low B tier, mainly because I really like Dale. I like their start. I don't mind the fractured economy at the start. I think that's what gives it its flavor.
Really is.
And plus, you can mitigate. You can mitigate that. What?
She's the same BRB.
Okay. You can mitigate the King's Purse by just grabbing your rebel regions at the start. It's not too hard. It's not too difficult, but you will go into the red, and that's fine. Your range outclasses most of, if not everyone around you, besides the elves and Rhûn, kind of. You have one extra ranged AP class. You have the Billman. You have pikes. You have actually no 3 ranged AP options because of the bodyguard. I think still, right?
Yeah, the Royal Guard is AP.
Yes, Royal Guard, Hardcat.
Yes. I can't right now, David. What? I can't list to that right now, David.
Roommate issues.
Yeah.
Alright, back. Alright.
It's pity.
Okay.
What do you mean you would
Continue
never
with
do
your
such a thing?
opinion.
I'm the one who pointed it out to you guys when I was playing it. I pointed it out to Quintus specifically in my streams. Just, hey guys, why the hell is one of the runic warriors AP? What's going on here? What's happening? It was bloody bullshit, but it was fun.
Okay, Oblivion, you continue with your win.
Yep, that's
Alright. Alright, continue Ozark before mine.
They have quite good cavalry. I quite like the cav.
Really up-ender.
They have the best cav in the north.
Yeah.
Barring probably Ingmar. The woodland elves don't really have good cav anyway. They don't do anything. So they're just horse archers. Or no, well, do they get no Lost Lorien? I would say either mid to high C or very low B, at the very end of B.
Yeah. And yeah,
I think they're a lot better than the goblins, even with the goblins' potential in riches. I don't think that really matters because they outperform goblins anyway.
Yeah, like in a no, sorry, you meant the goblins of Moray. Yeah. Like when it comes to Dol Guldur, the main thing is you will outclass like 80 to 90% of the roster, but it's like the Castellan tier and the Camul, Shadow Guard or whatever. That's the ones that are going to fuck up your armies.
Well, yeah, if you don't have any ranged AP, that is.
Yeah. And even if you do have ranged AP, they're gonna cut through a lot of your main line while you try and basically clear the area for you to get your boys in place to shoot at them. Because those shields do a hell of a lot if you shoot them from the front.
Yeah.
And the problem with having a ranged bodyguard is, yes, it's your AP, really good against the Castellan. But if you don't keep them safe, if you try to flank with them, the enemy will see bodyguard over there, chase. Yeah, it's a trap I fell into the first time I tried to play Rhûn. No, Dale, I meant.
Rhûn, oh wow. I didn't know they had ranged AP. Holy shit.
Well, I mean, they have the Rhûn Longbowman.
No, ranged AP archers, bodyguard.
Well, they have the starting general with the Rhûn Longbowman.
Oh, fuck. No, they do have a ranged bodyguard. It's just all across the board. It's not just. It's not an infantry unit. It's an archer unit.
Yeah.
Never would have thought.
All right. Now back to the Dorinian.
Yep, back to Dorinian.
Yep.
For me, when it comes to Dorinian, is unlike Dale, they're much more better. They outclass Dale, in my opinion, in terms of unit quality wise. Especially when it comes to your choice of units that you get when it comes to EUR. If I had to send a screenshot from here, you will see why. You will see why Dale has been outclassed by Dorinian. And ironically enough, despite being outclassed, Dorinian almost died every single time, despite being outclassed.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to think about.
Despite Dale being outclassed by Dorinian in terms of whether an elf choice or a man choice, they still get overwhelmed by Runic most of the time to Doguldur sometimes.
Yeah. Thankfully, Dorvinian don't really die anymore. It's usually Rhûn who does now. But they used to really struggle because when they went the Elven choice, they didn't really have the economy to support it. And the elves came in so slowly that they just couldn't keep up with the constant numbers coming at them. But then if they went the Northman choice, they had the economy to support it. And they could get units out there real quick. It let them survive longer. But they just didn't have the quality or the settlement count or the settlement quality to really outproduce their two enemies. But now, and as Spitty has said, they've reached a decent balance where usually Dorvinian does survive for a long-ass time. It can die still if a Dorvinian isn't pressed enough or if Rhûn is let to run rampant. But they at least they usually survive the first 60 turns, you know.
Yes, and most of the time, Dorinian always survives because of the island of Naberka, and that we got Gondor situation, but the eastern version. And also, I love the fact that Dorinian in EOR expanded the more elven units.
Oh yeah. Like
Especially,
honestly, my favorite part about the new Dorvinian units is the mixed unit, the mixed home guard here.
Yes, that is the men's choice. Actually, that is the men's choice. Those four alone, the Evelyn units, those are the men's choice, but they were really good.
Really? They're the men's choice? I could have
No,
sworn.
no. The Evelyn.
No. I played a lot of Dominion, and it is a men's choice to the Evelyn units. They change it to men's choice for the Evelyn units,
Huh.
not just. Yes.
Is that
You
true,
don't believe
Speedy?
me?
You don't get the Evelyn if you pick the elves?
You don't get the Evelyn.
You don't get the Evelyn.
You don't get the Evelyn units. They're restrictive for men's choice. And annoyingly, they need a blacksmith, and yet they're restricted to men's choice.
That's weird.
Yes. It's weird.
That feels wrong. They're supposed to be the mixed unit, the Evelyn here. They're supposed to be the mixed unit of elves and men. They're supposed to be for both choices. They're supposed to be there. They're AOR to specific settlements.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be your home guard. The last time I played, they were for both choices.
Yeah, I also thought it. And they added more elven units, actually, and some of men, but mostly elven.
Yeah.
The Nando and the Moriquendi.
And I'm playing the Dominion without taking Monotail, and even then they still and even then the Evelyn units are still with the men's choice. They're restrictively men's choice.
Really?
Sadly,
That
but
makes no bloody sense.
if you really want to go the Elven choice, you really have to sacrifice the Evelyn units. Yeah, you will not get Evelyn units unless you go to console command, create units, and that's that. But that is artificially. And when it comes to the Dominion, but when getting set units, for example, when you get the men's choice, when you get the Elven choice, and Edwardin comes, only those the Evelyn protectors, the spear units, not the sword and board, not the archers, and not the hammer guards came along with it.
That's strange. You would think that if you went the elven choice to have elves in the military, you would have the mixed unit of elves and Northmen. If it had to be a choice between if it had to be stuck to one, you'd think they'd be stuck to the elven choice, not the Northman choice. But even then, it doesn't make sense not to have them in either one, because they're the fundamental Dorvinian unit. Besides the bodyguard, they represent what Dorvinian's all about, a mixture of elves and men.
Yeah.
What is this? Spitty, what's going on? I don't understand this. That was the whole attraction to Dorvinian. I mean, the mixed units, man. The Avari, yes, they're really cool, but I love the mixed units.
And you know what's disappointing when you pick as the men's choice and you get the Elven units after that? The goals are the following. You only get 3 shadow, you get 3 Avari shadows, but except you get additional T1 a melee, but not the blade lords, the cavalry, and the additional cavalry.
I see. Oh, also, Bendy has information for us. Apparently, last stand armies will be removed in version 2, but key places will get garrisons instead. I think I like that a bit more, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, possibly better.
Yeah, because currently, if you ever want to wipe out a faction, you have to play around the last stand army in the beginning, and then in later, it just doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Yes, and some Doom facts are
Yeah.
Imagine
Some reclamation stacks are just. Some reclamation stacks are either so awfully overpowered that if you trigger them, they wipe out your faction in the early game. Others are so inconsequential that even if you went with us, even if you attacked them with a stack of hobbits, you'd win.
Yeah, exactly.
Goblin last stand army. Haha, funny.
Yeah. I do like that, Spitty. Make it harder to rush a faction. I'd really like that.
Yes.
I love the garrison idea a whole lot more than a random ass army popping up. I still like I still like the last stand armies as a concept. It's just I would prefer them for specific factions like Gondor, you know, like as a reclamation stack. But like Gondor falls, Minas Tirith falls, Gondor goes, fuck, get that back. You know, that I like. Or Barad-dûr falls and Sauron goes, get that shit back here.
Gondor, Rohan, Mordor.
Yeah.
Possibly the Northern Dunedain if they lose a Numina. It could be.
Yeah, depends.
Thranduil if he loses his own.
Yeah.
Possibly Dale could get a one. Erebor could get one.
Dale doesn't have the economy to do that, I think. Oh, wait. I can see one thing. If Dale loses Dale, a reclamation stack comes about, which is mainly Elven and Dwarven units with a spattering of Northmen in there.
Yes.
That makes sense. Their allies come to aid them, and then they also try to sprout in whatever they can to help out.
Yes, exactly my thought.
Yes, that makes a lot more sense. Anyway, let's focus back on Dravinian before we end up with another 3 hours here.
Now, just like I said, the Evelyn units are restrictively they're restrictively for the men's choice.
Mm.
And you really want to set Evelyn unit, you the only you get Evelyn unit for Elven choice is when you get Edwardin. But here's the thing, you only get Evelyn infantry, but not Evelyn vanguard or marksman or hammer guards. You will not get those three at all. You only get one by Edwardin contingent once he arrives at script, and that's really disappointing. Honestly,
I really don't like that, man.
Yeah, I don't either.
Honestly, there's some bullshit there.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the elf, yes, that is very very bad, honestly. But sadly, it is what it is. I come to terms with it a very long time. I just don't know how to say it to you guys. Now, Dominion is an upgrade to the DAC version, and I will say the economy is very strong, including the buff, including the economically buff. And depending the choices between the elf or a man, I say they're supposed to be at the A tier at best. A tier middle, I say.
Yeah, I can see it going there.
You know what we haven't talked about? Dominion and Harad. I don't know if it's changed or not, but they can possibly get 3 merchants.
Yes, you will get merchant. I forgot to mention that. Yes, the men's choice you get merchant, but only on
regardless. But the men's choice gets you an extra tier of merchant.
Yes, that's only restricted on Monatel, despite having the Avavi trade hub. Yes.
Hold on, Mozart. What do you mean? How does Harad and Dravinian get 3 merchants?
Harad and Darwinian are the trading faction, or Harad. Yeah, Harad and Darwinian, because Bree is no longer in the game. Harad and Darwinian are the trading factions of Middle Earth. So they're allowed to get 3 merchants if either one of them gets the third tier
the merchant building. Yes.
I see. Now
Yes.
that is very spicy.
Dorwinian might get another one because they also get that special building for their winery, which also gives them another merchant.
Fuck, that's 4 merchants Dorwinian has a chance to get. Okay.
Yeah.
If you can get those 3 or those 4 or even just those 3 merchants, depending on the resource you put them on, that's what, an extra 1 to 2k per merchant in the income?
Yes. And usually I put the merchant. Surprisingly, Mordor has the silver mines, and it gives you like depending how that merchant increase, they usually give you like 800 at most.
Yeah, those
800
silver
gold.
mines are really good early on. The only issue with it is that because you're not actively trading with Mordor, you don't get the bonus you would get by having a trade rights with them, and because you're at war with them, it's slightly reduced a little further because you have the at war penalty to the merchant trade.
Yeah,
it's still pretty good though. Also,
also
something else that comes into here. You remember how the Anduin Vale used to have a smile in its territory? Because that's been removed, that makes the smiles even more valuable to Dorwinion now. Because now they're even further away. The closest one is even further away, which makes them give you even more trade value.
Yep. You can also be the furthest away prisoner camp is in Umbar.
Yeah.
Prisoner camp, yes. And not only Umbar, but I feel like it's also from Ankaragmir, if I remember correctly.
Maybe.
I don't remember, but I think so. Now, everybody do remember that when it comes to trading resources, the cost of a resource it's based on the closest one of that type to you. That basically decides the value of every one of those resources overall. Individual resources can be more valuable than others of that same type, but if there's a really valuable resource right next to you and another of that same type very far away, generally they will cost the same. But if both of them are very far away, they will give you even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bree really is the best place for merchants in the world to go. And if you're Bree, the vineyards of Dorwinion are the best places for you to go. Or the labor camp. Either one.
Yep.
Yes.
But since Bree is gonna be removed and it's gonna be exclusively for the Northern Dunedain.
Yeah. Now, if they ever move the mithril mines to a tile that merchants can reach, yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah.
Oh god.
If they're allowed to put merchants in the mountain tile,
Yeah,
which
that'd be
is
something.
gonna be impossible.
Alright, so
Could be a
let's
possibility.
hurry up a bit, buddy. Now, Ozark, where would you say they should go?
Gonna be 80. 80 middle,
Okay, so
in between of Rohan and Erebor, for me at least.
I'd say I'd actually agree with Oblivion. In between those two factions right there. I think that's rather respectable for the best Northman faction.
I can definitely see it. Nikos, where would you place
Well,
them?
first of all, as I see Dorwinion, it has a very good. The army is noticeable. They are about the same with Dale, or actually we can say that they are economically at least. Dale, if it progresses normally. First of all, good quality of settlements. They have almost everything around them. You can go wish. You can go merchant if you wish. You have access. Dale does not have access to the Sea of Rhûn, only by the river. Dale, Dorwinion has ports straight away in the Sea of Rhûn, and Sea of Rhûn is a great trade lake. So the Dorwinion has a relatively easy start. You have Strondost, that is a choke point. If Strondost is defended properly, then it is very hard to go from there and start conquering. The problem with Dorwinion can, if Rhûn gets, as it usually gets, Mataram and Burgen Manarikis, then they can go up to Mornedel, and from there start the problem for Dorwinion.
Yeah.
As you have done in your Rhûn campaign.
Yes.
Dorwinion has one of the most difficult strategic positions in the game. Their armies are good, but considering what Oblivion says about their Elven and men choice, it is a bit weird. I would very much like to be this ameliorated. And also it gets tied with the unification of the Rovanian script we talked before about Dale. So for me, exactly because it was as the others two, I would place the Dorwinion yes, in the same position between Erebor and Rhûn in the 8th tier. Exactly for this. Dorwinion can become a powerhouse. I'm pretty sure about this. Can become a very good powerhouse. It has strong armies, strong economy, and if they manage to rush somehow around the Sea of Rhûn, then it will be a very, very hard nut to crack.
So where do you place it on Nikos?
I said between Erebor
between Erebor and Rhûn, he said.
Right.
So,
you, exactly as you.
Yeah.
Possibly, though, on par of Rhûn, it could be.
Ozar, did you say where you would place them?
Yeah, I said between. I agreed with the Oblivion between Erebor and Rhûn.
Yeah. Now, if the Elvelyn unit remains as a human-only choice, I'm putting them at the bottom of B tier, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If the Elvelyn unit,
if the Elvelyn are actually part of the main line, like part of both choices, I could honestly see Dorwinion. Like Dorwinion has the potential to pop on up to high A. And I can see someone argue for S. I don't agree with that, but I can see the argument for it. But at the moment, between Rohan and Erebor, yes. It's a really strong faction with a lot of potential. It's just a difficult position to be in, because you're facing so much AP. And you are outproduced by Rhûn, and they have the potential to wrap around you. Thankfully, the positions they can wrap around are Mornathel and Santa Nue and Strondost are very, very easy settlements to defend. But if you only defend those, you only have 4 settlements as a whole, and that's going to be difficult. Right here, everybody. In Meladris.
Yep.
Tell me your opinions about them, and I'm going to go take a piss.
Spitty, we have a common thing here. Emladris, S-tier, super top. Actually.
Look what John said, guys, in the chat.
He will return.
So what is
what they say?
Yeah.
I could propose a solution
we're
make
talking
elven
about
units to be
Mithrandir.
recruited
I
regardless
could
of choices.
propose a
Make
solution
uber elite units that
for
is strictly for men chosen dominion. Yeah. I can see that. Alright, so anyone gonna talk about Imladris at all? No? Okay,
you
I can do
guys
it.
do because I never played in Madras.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Now, I don't know a lot about the new version that they have here with, Imladris and Linden thing, but even going by just what we know, which is start with only Imladris, and let's say just the Imladris line, like the Noldor line of units. Let's even say they just have that. Because the simple fact that they don't have to focus on defending Linden anymore, can focus the entire economy on just Imladris. And because you're only really fighting goblins there, that already puts Imladris up to S tier over here, man.
Indeed.
Even with just that, you outclass your enemies so heavily. You have the cavalry needed to smash them to pieces. You have the infantry needed to cut through them. You have the archers needed to shoot them to death. As long as you're somewhat careful with your units, you can take the entirety of a region, deal with the Last Stand stack, and take Casa Doom west without too much issue.
Yeah.
True. Yes, I agree.
I can see that.
The only thing holding you back before was the fact you had to think about Linden and focus money on that region to defend it and maybe expand or build buildings there. That is tens of thousands of gold that you'd spend in Linden to upgrade it, even if you only upgraded it, that you could have been spending at the home front.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I think I am of the opinion that the money you aren't spending on Linden is worth the economic hit you take by only having him Ladris now.
I agree.
Yeah, because now you have only one settlement.
Mm-hmm.
You have very powerful armies. I believe they're the powerful armies in the whole game, in general.
Yeah, and as Pity says here, Imladris S tier, very strong roster, unique bodyguard for Elrond, the twins, etc. The Smith's script, Noldor units, you are starting with lower tier units, but they are solid. Noldor units are still locked behind the last barracks, yeah, makes sense. Solo starting Imladris, weak enemy, goblins. Have the choice to form Kingdom of Noldor later on and get a new roster or stay Imladris and stay with the units.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with this in general. It's just, for me, there is a personal bias of because Imladris with one of my most favorite characters and the longest.
Yeah.
And Calagon the Black, of course, which is a ringmaker.
Yeah.
And
yes, okay.
Yeah, you have cav, archers, foot soldiers, you have everything you need to smash the goblins.
With Imladris, you have completely everything. But it has a very weak economy, however. And I believe that the relevant unification script of all hires, which means both the Lindon and I believe the Noldor
A7, welcome back.
A7, this can be quite interesting. It can be quite conflicting here.
Yeah.
You actually ally with Círdan in Lindon, but you have to oppose your kin in Noldor region. This could be quite challenging. And because I cannot say more either from the one side or from the other side. Yeah. So I cannot say what, but insanely powerful armies.
Yeah.
This reunited kingdom for you to form, and with the most powerful army in Middle-earth.
Oh yeah, like you as Imladris, as you have the Noldor, you have the most powerful army across the board of everyone in Middle-earth. Yes, Wood Elves, the Wood Elves probably outclass you ranged, maybe. Dol Amroth and Rhûn in some aspects, and Rohan may outclass you in some cavalry contingents. The Dwarves of Khazad Dûm may outclass you infantry somewhere, but there is no faction that outclasses you in more than a single area.
Yes.
Everywhere
Exactly.
else, you are, and even in the areas they do outclass you, you are very, very close to them.
Yes, but I would say about the ring script, this special to the high elves. First of all, the elves are the eternal rivals. They know him well, he has betrayed them, and so in a condition with the one ring, there should be only one, destruction of the ring. For the Noldor region, this would be even more strict. They completely oppose everything else, but for the destruction of the script. And maybe discuss something.
Yeah.
Lyndon would have the option of taking the ring and send it to Aman, for example, something discussing like this. But especially for the elves, because they know Sauron, they are the most powerful and the most important opponents of Sauron. So destruction of the ring completely.
Yeah.
For me, this is actually a must.
Yes, I can definitely see it. Ozark, your opinion?
Hold on.
Thank you.
Imladris.
Okay. My opinion is that since they are now a one settlement faction, this just makes them better only because they can spend all of their resources on Imladris and their army.
Yeah.
Sure, there's not a lot left. There's not a lot of resources in that, but you can easily just take everything in Arabian.
Yeah. And let's not forget the simple fact that you do not need more than 5 units to wipe out the goblins in a region.
Yeah, there's like no goblins that can oppose you in a region.
Yeah. Unless you give them too much time.
Redeemed hydrate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Savvy.
Yeah.
Evan, remember your waters.
Give them enough time, the goblins will mobilize. But as the elf, you should not let that happen at all.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a thing. Goblins should be dead within turn probably 30 to 40.
Yeah.
Maybe even less if the dwarves are get off their ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the only real danger to you is the high pass. But even then, simply take an Elrond, then take Elrond, 1 or 2 units of infantry and then 2 archers. Take them up there, besiege it, have them sally out, wipe it out, give it to the Anduin Vale, then focus everything downwards into a region. That's the high pass completely dealt with. No more threat from the north. And you've also secured on the Anduin Vale a good point that may actually let them survive longer. May actually let them survive to begin with. And also, another bonus from there, because the Anduin Vale now holds the high pass, they may also enter a war with Angmar, which may further distract Angmar from you.
Or you make Anduin have a harder time as an AI by bringing Angmar into the mix.
Yeah.
Yes, but we have to also think that there is that get from turn, actually in turn 2, they get 2 or more settlements. So possibly Imladris could have Cometh Bryn, for example, which is also a castle and can stop quite some attacks against Imladris. Everything goes first to Cometh Bryn and then it comes to Imladris.
Yeah. So, Oblivion, have you given your thoughts?
We understand it. Goodbye.
Okay, but I didn't play in that this much in any EOR, surprisingly, considering EUR in Bloodless is comparably better than base in Bloodless as a whole. But surprisingly, I didn't play them for mainly strictly reason. I do not like having missing generals in in Lindon. We only get Kiradan and two other generals that's supposed to be in the settlement are just missing. You get Inglorian. You just have to make him walk, and that's what I just stop. I just don't want to play them. I know they have units that are very good, and I say yes, that is very good. Now, in terms of teaming, similar to the dwarf faction, Erebor is similar to the teaming when it comes to dwarves. For like Erebor aggressive, Khazad-dûm defensive, and Eredlune is a jack of all trades. If I were to compare them, I say they're the exact same jack of all trades when it comes to Eredlune, but better. Could strictly focus on the quality of units that are much more better and stronger than any human and or dwarf faction as a whole.
Yeah.
Considering one of the best. Not super OP, but very strong as a whole.
Yeah. Okay. So, where in the Ash do we want to place them? Do we want them above Khazad-dûm?
I say above Khazad-dûm for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I would.
Above Gundabad?
Gundabad also.
Gundabad can be outclassed by Imladris, but here's the thing. Okay, I'm good. I'm going to give up arguing to Gundabad side. To Imladris can also outclass Gundabad simply because Imladris has strong archers, and despite Gundabad having the best or the out of orcs, they have the best defense skills. Defense skills is useless when it comes to archers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, one thing Spitty has told us that Imladris is missing is AP.
Yeah, they don't have AP, but I don't think that
Gundabad has pretty strong AP, even with the trolls. But they also don't have the most heavily armored units, ranging from like the main line of 9-ish, 9 to 11, I think. And they're more heavily armored units from like 9 to 13, 14.
I don't think. Okay, so Imladris has AP, but it's AOR. The Smiths of Regian are AP.
Yes.
They're also the best
I
unit
don't
in the
think
game.
that.
And even that, they don't really need AP.
They really don't.
Like,
Their base attack is high enough.
They have their base attack is high enough.
Yeah.
They have great archery stats. They have great hikes as well.
Yeah, like honestly, the only time you will feel the lack of AP is when you're fighting the dwarves or other heavily armored elves.
Yeah.
And maybe some elites from like some human factions, but even then, barely.
Yeah. But when you're going to attack dwarves or elves, and unless if you're going like dwarf execution route, I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, they can go above Gundabad, my beloved.
Now,
Are they?
Lindon.
But wait, before that, last question here for Imladris. Are they above the reunited kingdom?
My bias says yes, but my logic.
I don't think so.
I agree with Ozark here, and the simple reason why. No matter how outclassed them, in terms of late game wise, not only the regions but also the economy, they already won the game by mere margin when it comes to the reunited kingdom. And even if Imladis can bulldoze their way and defeat them, it still doesn't matter considering they already won the game. They already have too many regions. And depending how strong the units are in the United Kingdom or how strong the economy, it doesn't really matter considering again I had to repeat this again. They already won the game.
We can see Spitty throwing a hissy fit in the comments, just yelling about how he'll kill them all. Fucking hilarious.
So,
but I do agree with you guys.
Oblivion, but I agree with him in a different way. Not just regions, but the quantity of their quality units, of their arcades units. Like they have so many that they can field, and faster than the Noldor can. Like they have, like Noldor has slow recruitment, even for elves.
Oh yeah,
and
like for the reunited kingdom, you can probably What's going on out there?
I don't know.
So I keep hearing either the ambulance or the cops going about. I can't tell the difference, honestly. But yeah.
Okay.
When it comes to the reunited kingdom, they can probably produce like 3 quality armies to Imladris's half stack.
Yeah. Now, if the Noldor can get up to a sizable amount of places, that just helps them even more.
Oh yeah, like if the Noldor have more than just a region, if they actually I'd say to face off the entirety of the reunited kingdom, like the minimum settlements needed for that, like Arnor and all of Gondor, the Noldor only really need like a region and a total of like 12 settlements, and they might be able to put up a good fight.
Yeah, indeed.
Like, it's a real snowball effect for Imladris.
I said, bias says yes, but logic says no.
As much as I really want Imladris to surpass RK, but we have to be realistic here. RK just not only just the financial, but also quantity of units, quantity and quality of units. Financially strong and region as a whole, you're just gonna need like I don't know 3 to 4 to 5 elite units alone. But even then, they just gonna pump more units. Essentially, Arca is just like Mordor, but good version and a lot more quantity and quality.
Yeah, there's just too much quantity of quality troops coming out at once too fast for Imladris to be able to typically take care of it, unless it gets up to a size that it shouldn't reasonably be at. Unless a player's in control, it doesn't have really a chance.
Yeah.
Speedy says it can probably take
I wouldn't say that.
before it needs to be reinforced. Then you will fall to the 7th.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I give you 8.
Hold on. That only applies if a player is controlling the Imladris army and the AI is controlling the Reunited Kingdom army.
Yes.
If it's reversed, that's no longer that.
Yeah. If RK will suffer a lot of casualties just by defeating Elite one Imladris army. But even then, you have to keep in mind elves are just elves, low recruitment, regardless of quality over quantity.
Yeah. Like, hey, Spitty, I'll give you this. Imladris is probably the best faction in the entire game if we do not count, like, combination factions. Yeah.
Essentially, we're moving RK into the picture.
Yeah, if we remove RK, it's probably going to be the best one in the game.
Yes.
Right, so, Lyndon. Those pikes are deadly, though.
Yes. Lyndon is my second favorite faction.
Yeah. Let me find Spitty's comment about Lyndon.
More.
There we go.
Post it.
Yeah, he posted a comment. Lyndon S tier. Hear me out. Strong starting position and economy. Have unique new units and playstyle. Play totally different than Imladris. You have a lot of AP, pikes, strong roster, but not as strong as Imladris. You get chariots as well. Have fun, enemy to the south. Have the opportunity to form Kingdom of a Region later on, and stay Linden.
Yes. For me, Linden is surely below Imladris, possibly on par with Khazad-dûm. I am not yet sure if they surpass Gundabad.
Yeah.
Though they could.
Now, me, myself, I see Linden as if we do not take Blue Crag into account, I would see Linden being right here. Right behind Imladris. But with Blue Crag right to its south, and the potential devastation they can wreak upon you, even under the AR control, if they get there on artillery and troll artillery
trolls,
going.
the shiz and everything.
Yeah, and all that AP, I would say they'd fall below Khazad-dûm. But that is if Blue Crag works the way we think it is, and if Blue Crag manages to get up there to threaten you. If you just bombard, if you go to them head on first, they'd probably be right behind Imladris.
Yes, indeed. I agree with this. Blue Crag with this piecing and the siege machinery and the trolls.
Yeah.
Even without the door hands, it can make a very, very good match.
Yeah.
And also, I also agree with you guys, especially Midland starts with the highest tier build, the highest tier settlement, that being the city itself, and you really get a strong economy.
Yeah.
So I do agree with it. But you really you're really going to face Blue Crag as your main enemy, since they counter you a lot.
Yeah.
Majority of the units are AP. Keep in mind they're light units, but AP compared to you like what heavy units, but get the counter. So I do agree with you guys that that'd be S tier behind.
Yes.
That S tier, but Khazad-dûm will be on the lead.
Yeah. Oh, right. Speedy, that does remind me. Something I've been meaning to hark on you about. And the Grey Havens, the Black Haven of Umbar, and the Port of Pelagir. They're unique. Bring them back to 5 trade fleets. Okay? That's supposed to be their thing. Come on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And the merchant tier of the trade port. Have them give additional trade fleets per each tier. Come on now. Like, first one trade. Second 2. Third 3. Alright, and then you have the 5 from the Grey Havens and all that. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a total of 8 trade fleets. Come on now. We need that. It's beautiful. There's so much trade everywhere, and blockading ports will be devastating. Not again. Fire.
Yes, pity it is.
Are we in agreement that that Lyndon is what it is?
Yeah, I agree with their placement. I don't really have anything to say about their roster. I don't have anything to say about the roster because I've never played them. I don't know them. The only Linden I've played was in last Alliance Total War on Shogun.
Like, I don't know the current Linden roster, but if we go by what Linden has currently access to, which is the Linden Pikemen, the Linden Archers, then the Sindar Axemen, the Sindar Archers, like that line.
Yes.
If we just go by that, it would still deserve to be where it is. And the LV Javi unit, the Mariners, the Marines, Mithrandir Mariners, I think they are. Yeah, and those are still in. Beautiful. Like, plus extra stuff, They already have everything you need in them, you know? Yeah. Like, you have a strong pike formation to keep enemies at bay and hold choke point. You have Axie Boys from the Sindar line with big ass AP axes and shields, real good for getting through armor. you have the Lindar archers are the weakest archer unit in the entire game. Let's not lie to ourselves. But they're still an archer unit. Outside of the best of the men ranger units, they're still the best out there. They're still going to beat any other faction. There are some factions that will be on par with you in range and some damage, but overall you're going to do better than them. You have decent cavalry. Yeah, now the Cinder Archers, that's where it comes right back up to the top. There's no faction that beats you anymore unless it's another Elven one. So, there's that. They have decent cavalry, so they can handle most everything there. Slow recruitment like everything else. Not as slow as the Noldor or Imladris has, but slower than the Sylvan Elves. We have new cavalry. Beautiful. That'll be even better then. And chariots.
Jesus, Spitty.
Are you having a stroke? Do you need help?
He needs hydrate.
Well, I know how to help someone having a stroke. I'll start flashing a bunch of lights in their face. That always helps those people out.
Spitty, take that hydrate, please.
45 just redeemed hydrate.
Don't worry, I already drink hydrate. I already just drink a bottle of hydrate water.
Come on, man, drink another. It's good for you, unless you end up getting water poisoning. But what's the chances of that? Now, the Kingdom of Eregion. Spitty, quick question. Kingdom of Eregion, is it just Imladris taking Eregion, uniting it, and becoming that kingdom? Or is it the Kingdom of Eregion from the Eregion mod? That is very important, and we need to know that before we can rank it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take another piss. I've been drinking too much.
Come on now. Where is the where is the whole
He needs to go look.
I'm looking as well now. Where are you, Eregion? It's on the preview. I see. Oh, it's there. Have to find it. Oh, wait. Okay. Here's. I think I found them. Wait, just gonna I'm gonna post it here.
Right, yeah.
Just gonna copy paste it here. Just give it a moment.
Because if it's the Kingdom of the Noldor from that mod, and then oh boy, that's probably go above Imladris.
Yeah, it may. That's bloody powerful. But if it's Imladris establishing the Kingdom of Imladris, it'll go above Imladris.
Oh yeah.
The Kingdom of Eregion, I should say.
Alright, I sent the images from the preview. Now, can you look at it?
Yeah.
I sent it on the chat.
Yeah, see.
Let's see. Let me zoom in on this here.
Below.
They are not.
Yeah, they are not from the Eregion submod.
Okay then, good.
They have something.
Yeah, they have the red coloring, obviously.
From their own.
But it's also silver and red. It's not just red and.
There's a little bit of gold in the final elite tier.
Oof.
Okay, so
this is very powerful. I see.
Yeah.
It could be. It could not.
Got one more images.
In my opinion.
Got one more images.
Right, yeah. I'll be honest with you. If this is the Eregion submod,
it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, but like if it's like the Eregion submod, aka the Eregion faction with new units popping into Eregion, What the hell? What the hell are those goblins of Moria gonna do? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put them down to D tier now if it's like that. Below Bree, they're so fucked, man. You know. 2 fucking high elven factions right there at the doorstep. They can't do shit.
Yeah, the
big ass elite ones. Nice. It looks really bloody good.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Oblivion has the AOR as well. Yeah. Yes.
Now, I cannot see any like tier 1 or even tier 2 units in here, even for Elven standards. Except maybe these. These here could maybe be tier 2, but they look more like tier 3. So I'm going to run with the assumption that this is not its own new faction. It's Imladris establishing the Kingdom of Eregion and gaining access to these units and replacing some of their own older ones with them, or maybe a new color scheme for some of the older ones. Once you like have all of Eregion and build something and some other conditions, you basically can establish a Kingdom of Eregion and become this faction.
Yeah, possibly.
There's a lot of cavalry.
Okay, I'm gonna find the tier 1 units. Okay. Go to the infantry units.
Yeah.
Go to the infantry. You see at the top with the bodyguards?
Yeah.
That is the tier 1.
Really?
Those are the tier 1 units.
I guess
this
I can
seems
see it.
Clad in armor, actually.
Well, I mean, it looks like they're wearing Gambison, maybe.
Yeah. Possibly, yeah. It could be, yeah.
Okay.
And
I can
with
see
Gambison. Yeah.
And going below, that is the tier 2.
Yeah.
And you see the armor, heavy armor.
Yeah, they get like chainmail, and then below that is the tier 3 with like the plate belt coming in, and then the tier 4 and the specials, and then a tier 5 unit at the very end. Yeah. You get like you get tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, some elites, and the tier 5. Some info. Kingdom of Eregion is a formidable faction for both Imladris and Lindon can choose to form. Rightio, it's what I thought it was. Okay, beautiful. So it's basically you can form this faction and you get these units, and I think some of your older ones will be replaced by these, by the looks of this, because there's a fuck ton of ones in here. I would say it's a very formidable one. You will be true neutral/evil, no friends. Your lineup gets swapped out immediately. Rightio, yeah. It completely replaces your old lineup. Yeah, so yeah, so basically, from what I'm gathering, there is at least one equivalent to there should be equivalent units in here to your old units, especially if you're Imladris. Like basically all of your old units should basically just be replaced by these. These are probably slightly better versions or the equivalent of your old units, just upgrading their looks and whatnot, with some new ones thrown in there. Lindon will probably be hit harder by the swap, as some of the units you would have relied on before no longer exist. But overall, it would be a quality increase for you, because now you have the quality that none of the Imladris had. Okay, so Kingdom of Eregion. Do we put it above Reunited Kingdom?
No.
I think not.
Yes.
I think not.
No.
These here are region locked.
So those are region locked.
Yeah, these here are region locked.
I would say put them. Honestly, I don't.
Just below Imladris.
I don't have any. I don't have any inclination on what these unit stats are. The only one I have an inclination for is the Smiths of Eregion, which is still in this.
Yeah. Order restricted. Okay. Right, so with the information we have here, since they break off alliances with, their allies to go proper neutral, I want to put them below Imladris, because, that's a lot more enemies.
Yes, I agree.
At the same time, I also want to put them above Imladris, because when you form them, you are already Imladris, but you have Olive Region. But
however, I will tell you this.
Yeah.
Army has few archers, and they have high armor. It's mostly melee.
3, 4,
Not an archer
5.
armor.
They have 5 archers here. No, 6 if you count the bodyguard.
But it's the armies, however, mostly melee. Then the archers are they are elven archers, of course, very powerful. Yeah. It's mostly a melee faction.
Yeah, they have a lot more cav, and some cav archers too. At least 2 of them.
Yes, they have. They have very, very cavalry.
Yeah.
I could say that they are a combination of melee infantry and cavalry faction. Not clearly one or the other, but they are.
I mean, they have 6 archers, Nikos. That's more than most factions. And they have 1 archer for each tier.
Most factions only have 3.
However, I feel that in as a more defensive
Next is
faction,
the Kingdom of Noldor from Imladris and then Linden perspective. After that, we're going to Lothlorien, the Woodland Realm, and the Yavanas Union.
It's Kingdom of...
I just told him.
And Imladris together?
The Kingdom of the Noldor is Imladris and Linden combining, becoming one faction.
Yeah. So it's above him.
Yeah. The emblem difference depends on which faction you're playing when you initiate the union.
Yeah, I see. So it can go above. It can go above, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about those yet. But yes, Eregion, I'm going to put them behind Imladris. With what we're seeing, the fact that they're from Eregion, I'm assuming they're Noldor, and thus they're at the very minute least equivalent to Imladris in quality. They have some more options to them, I would imagine, here from what I'm seeing. But they get a lot more enemies and no real friends, unless you actively make them, which makes it a lot more difficult.
Yes, yeah.
Now, the Kingdom of Noldor with Imladris unifying it. I know nothing about this. But that's basically Imladris and Linden coming in one single faction.
Yes, I believe this is super top. You don't have anything more powerful than this.
Yeah, this beats out the Reunited Kingdom. This is 2 factions coming together after some requirements. This is basically, you won the game, here's a reward, now go have fun.
Yes, exactly. It's the same as the United Kingdom.
Wait, Linden
because we talk about elves here, high elves especially, very, very powerful. Very top.
Yeah.
And the other is with Linden.
Yeah, and as I said before, the emblem difference here, it depends on which faction you're playing when you initiate the union. If you're playing Linden, you get the Linden, a Linden flag here with the Linden in the center, in the middle of it. If you play Imladris, you get the flag with Imladris in the center.
Okay.
I don't know anything else about it. Is there anything else I should know, Spitty? Is there a unit difference? Do you get more units? Do you get new units? Do you just get the other factions units? Do you lose some units? I don't even know the requirements for this one.
It's gonna be cryptic, and so you have to find out.
Probably.
Yeah.
It would really be funny, yeah. It would be. Let's see. Scroll down. Yeah. Hello, you lot. Does it do this? Tell us anything? He's sending us it. Beautiful. Did I scroll past it? Yes, I did. Okay. Let's see. Faction overview. Players will trigger the formation of the Kingdom of Noldor through scripted events and strategic choices that will directly impact and shape the campaign, with some choices even leading to unforeseen consequences. Post-reunification, the entire roster and regions of both Imladris and Lindon annexed into the player's faction. The original roster's Tier 2 plus units recruitment will be limited to their home regions respectively, while Tier 1 units from both factions will become part of the main roster with a new unified look. The mainland roster will be composed of new units primarily imported from the Noldor Region submod. Along with a few other major mods who have graciously provided us permission to use their models. Depending on the initial faction chosen to form the reunion, unique units will become available after the reunification, offering strategic diversity and personalized playthroughs. For example, in Lindon, expect unique units with a seafaring and defensive edge reflecting the coastal origins and naval supremacy. As in Imladris, expect unique units with an emphasis on elite mobile skirmishers inspired by the House of Elrond. Gotcha.
Yeah.
There we go. Strategic depth.
So
the Kingdom of Noldor isn't just about powerful units. It requires astute strategy and thoughtful choices. Players will need to balance the strength of their original factions, manage the deployment of home region units, and tactically utilize the elite Noldor reinforcements to dominate the battlefield. I gotcha. There we go. He sent me the new stuff. Yeah. Basically the stuff I read out. Yeah. Thank you, Spitty. Okay, so yeah, it definitely seems like he didn't send me a new unit. So yeah, it definitely feels like it's going to overtake the United Kingdom. Because you don't lose out on the ability to recruit any units. You gain additional mainline. Your old mainline becomes locked to your home regions, yes. But you get a whole new mainline to basically take over that to be able to recruit anywhere. And you still keep the mainline from both Tier 2 and above from both factions, so you gain access to new ones. They just become AOR. So, and depending on which faction you choose, it's gonna depend on stuff. Yeah, you become a kingdom, but you get all the problems becoming a kingdom, per se. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, let's say...
I believe, though, that if you...
Honestly, with what I was seeing
more
there...
powerful than us, Lindon.
Yeah, with what I was seeing there, the fact that Imladris gets, like, elite skirmishers, and as a unique unit, and Lindon gets elite defensive units, because of my personal playstyle, I prefer being defensive. I'm gonna put Lindon above the Imladris Noldor Kingdom, because they lean more towards my preferred playstyle. If you swap them yourself, I completely understand. So, are we all in agreement of the placements of the Kingdom of Noldor?
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yes, possibly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right,
possibly, yes.
So, Lorien.
Okay, have any of you played Lorien? That's very good.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Lorien is very bland.
It's one of my more less played factions. I have played it. It's not one of those I haven't played, but I haven't played it in EUR.
Okay, it seems I'm the only one out of all the three of us. I'm the only one who played them, even in playtest.
I mean, I've played them quite a bit, but that's only for challenges and shit. I don't really. Yeah. I don't hate them. I don't like them.
I've played them in DAC and AGO, but I haven't played them in EUR so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I'm the only one who plays it. Yeah. Fine, I'll get. Okay, back to be me. I say I'm gonna agree with also the bit bland. Even with the upgrade, even with the new units ish, this still remains the same. The playstyle remains the same. The only difference is that you not much of a difference. Not much of a difference to base DAC to EUR in terms of playstyle. The script remains the same. The Nirvana chosen remains the same. Still, I say they're in a. It's really hard for me. I think they're gonna be in an 8 tier, but low at best. Considering Lorien, they're just Casa Doom. They're just Casa Doom, but it but Elven. The emphasis on the defensive. They the emphasis on defensive. And yes, my favorite, Haldir died in the films from defending Helm's Deep, and I love Lorien and I love the elves it gives to this day. But I had to be much more objective. I say there are 8 tier to me. That is without saying about the playtesting thing.
Yeah.
I will say it. Well, I had to keep it I had to keep it a close slit. I will say this: Lorien just do get mechanics.
Yeah.
They Lorien and Mirkwood as a whole do get mechanics, and
That is good.
you will play, you will like it for certain reasons, but that's about it. I'm not gonna say otherwise,
Okay, that's
because
super
well,
interesting.
professional standards for me.
Okay,
What
so
about you, Ozark?
before we get to Ozark, let's get to Spitty here, because he gives us more information as usual.
Yeah.
Spitty 158. So, for me, Lothlorien is S tier, purely because of the unique script, and you can form with Woodland Realm. I mean, of course, Spitty is giving him S tier, it's an Elven faction. And let's see, and you can form with Woodland Realm, and you can also go your own way if you choose to. I like a challenging faction. Your main enemy is Dol Guldur to start with. Economy is meh, but it's much better now with the farm upgrade across the board. The unit card upgrade, fun units if used right, it would be low S tier for me. But why is low S also? It's cause you're gonna fight Mordor so early on. And Isengard is a fun challenge to yourself. That's Spitty's take. Ozark?
While I do think that it's low S tier, I still think it's rather bland because of the units. Where I praised Kaza Doom for doing it, I can't do the same for Lorien because they're the defensive Elven faction mostly.
Yeah. Thank you for the follow, King Arthur Camelot. I hope you will have a wonderful time, you beautiful bastard.
Yeah, thanks for the follow. I still believe that they're I'd say that they're the weakest Elven nation across the board, barring their Uber elites and their bodyguards. Or custom bodyguards, sorry. Because you could get rid of the Galathrim swordsman and still have Galathrim swordsman in the archer.
Yeah.
You can't do that with any other unit in another faction.
Yeah.
They have the same exact stats except for the archers having having missile, because they don't use shields. They don't have shields for the swords. They have the two-handed sword.
Interesting.
I think their Uber elites are better than the Woodland realms. Celeborn's bodyguard.
Yeah.
But other than Celeborn's bodyguard, I still think that Woodland Realm beats them out. So I would say low S tier. I agree with Spitty there.
Yeah.
They have more of a chance to lose.
Yeah.
Than the others do.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from. Like,
because fucking.
Yeah, like I definitely think they are the weakest of the Elven factions, and they're also in the most danger out of all the Elven factions. They have the most enemies they need to face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're like the goblins of the elves. I feel horrible saying that.
That just feels wrong.
Yeah, I know. They have the goblins. They have Dol Guldur. They have Isengard. They have Mordor.
Yeah.
That's 4 enemies right there.
Yeah. And if Rhûn, then they get into Rovanion, they'll have Rhûn as well.
Rhûn. And if they go up north too far, they have Gundabad, which is 6.
Yeah.
Yes,
and if the high pass falls, and if they take the high pass, they'll then have Angmar.
Yeah. So 7.
The immediate enemies will always be Dol Guldur, and then
one thing they do have going for them is the fact that on the Karas Galathon is exceptionally defensible with your units against Dol Guldur.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yep. Especially the southern settlement in a city.
Yeah.
At best.
Like, it's exceptionally easy to defend it with your faction leader and just 2 other units. You can defend against whole armies from Dol Guldur. I've done it before. It's really good. The only problem is, if you're relying on that to hold the line, you can't expand into Dol Guldur. Which just gives them time to build up, get stronger, push the other allies aside, focus more on you and get better units, and eventually overwhelm you. So you need to push. Now.
Yes, that's what I did. Sadly, I let Dol Guldur to be semi-strong, considering they have the castle that is next to Dol Guldur. They able to come up full and the tier 2 units, and that is where it kind of hampered my progress. So therefore, yeah. Continue what you're going to say.
Was there anyone I had left to ask about Lothlórien? Nico?
Well, the only thing that I have to say about in connection with Woodland Realm is, first of all, the Lórien has fewer settlements than Woodland Realm in general, because you have only Karas Galadon and Linhir, whereas in the Woodland Realm you almost rush in Emin-Ufuir, so it is free. However, the quality of Lórien settlement is higher than Thranduil's. So Lórien, for me, comes in front of Thranduil's realm. The Yavanna's Union is another discussion.
Yeah,
but,
it's a whole other discussion we'll have at the end of this.
Yes, Thranduil has better archers, and the Lórien has better armor than Thranduil in general. So comparing them two, I believe that Lórien comes, I believe, with the position, albeit I would say that Lórien might come over the Northern Dunedain, because they are elves, simply.
Yeah, I definitely see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thranduil,
Thranduil,
on the other hand, for those might come to the upper A tier, perhaps equal to the Blue Crag, lower, maybe lower, but for me it's equal to not as high as Dol Amroth. Between them.
Alright, we'll get to the button in a moment. Alright, so everybody, we agree Lothlorien is S tier, right?
My opinion remains the same. It's gonna be the A tier, but you sort of convinced me to go as low S tier. That'll be fine with that.
Yeah. Alright, so
like no Elven nation should go below S tier.
It really shouldn't know. So here's the question: does Lothlorien overtake the Northern Dunedain?
Here's the thing, but you guys first, because I'm having a contemplating moment.
Right, yeah.
Okay, man. For me it is, because the Northern Dunedain have a better than them army to deal, which is the Angmar. Whereas Lorien has its initial enemy a lower quality of army, much more numerous, but lower quality. The Northern Dunedain also have, it depends how they develop actually. Northern Dunedain, as they are, I believe, much better quality of archers, of course. They have pretty good spear units that behave in the game much better.
Yeah.
So I believe that Lorien comes on top, but Lorien cannot surpass Ered. That's for sure for me.
Right, yeah.
No. Irresistible.
What about yours, Ark?
So we're thinking about if they're higher or lower than the Dunedain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think that they're above the Rangers. If they're not the Reunited Kingdom or Arnor, I think that they're above them only because of their their quality.
Yeah.
Because they're still elves. They have more quality than any man, than any like Northmen or Dunedain culture faction.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that one.
I don't know if we can put them above Ered Luin. I mean, we could. I mean, it wouldn't be that far of a stretch to say that they're better than ER. Because... Oh wait, this is still Lorien or Woodland Realm. Which one is it?
Lorien.
Sorry, I'm not in it right now. I would say they are better than the Rangers because they do what the Rangers do, but better. Because the Rangers are archers. They're very good archers, but Lorien just has a better quality of archers.
Yeah,
and they have the Galadrim archers.
Dependable mainline.
Yeah, they have a more dependable mainline too.
Yeah, and easier access to charged cavalry.
Yes, even though it's only one unit.
Yeah, but like that. The time when your charged cavalry is most important is the early game, and that is when Lorien gets access to it.
I'm talking about the Drykarn. I'm not talking about the Lancers.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, I'm talking about the first non-archer cavalry that Lorien gets.
Yeah, the Lorien. I don't think they get archer cavalry though.
No, I know the Woodland Realm gets them. I don't remember if Lorien gets them.
They do not.
Same time when it comes to the Lorien, they do get Lorien. As far as I remember, they do get horse archers. Yes.
Okay.
And they do get the lance as well, but that's it.
Right, yo.
Do they not get the Drykarn anymore?
Yeah. Now, me myself, personally, I can't really move Lorien above Ered Luin. Ered Luin's starting region is just too safe and too good.
Yeah.
And their units are too similar in quality. Like, Ered Luin has the crossbows and the armor to contend with Lorien in a shootout. Yes, Lorien will get the first 1 or 2 volleys off, and they'll also fire more, but every single volley on the Ered Luin shoots out will kill way more elves.
Yeah.
Same tier generally, as long as it's the mainland and above. I believe the Ered Luin crossbows will beat out the Lorien archers. Ered Luin scouts will probably lose to Lorien archers though. Now we get to my favorite elven faction, the Woodland Realm.
Yes, and I do play it a lot. Out of all the elven faction, Woodland Realm is one of my favorite as well, and I do play it a lot, simply because of Legolas. Like his bodyguard is Hinedour, and compared to Lorien, that is their Gervaleg, it's just essentially their body piercing javelins, but bow. But compared to Legolas, the Hinedour, body piercing, long range, not limited missiles, but long enough to pierce your enemies, and I bloody love it. And they added more units for Woodland Realm for EUR. And wait, let me see. Let me check the.
And like, let's not even talk about like all the rebel settlements in Mirkwood with the spiders and all that. How probably they have to deal with. You only need Legolas and maybe his father. Send him alone or him with his father all alone to any of those settlements. Have them sally out and shoot them as they're coming out. They won't even reach you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of settlements you can take really quickly with no casualties.
Don't worry, Spitty. We're not putting any elven nation under A.
Yeah. No elven nation goes under A.
I don't believe any elven nation will be even A class. I hardly believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
over Luin, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Like, personally, for me, I love the Woodland Realm. They're an excessively aggressive faction with extreme potential for defensive gameplay. Their archers are amazing. They're the best archers in the entire bloody game. Their mainline, their mainline isn't up to snuff when you compare to other elven nations, but it's still better than any non-dwarven nation out there. It'll beat on most all Gondor infantry, for example.
And keep in mind, the Hinedour, they are also recruitable.
Mm-hmm.
That's what their body piercing. Even the most elite, they get shredded. But they get shredded immediately.
Yeah.
Not a lot of ammunition, but is balanced. But it balances out, considering it's very OP.
Yeah, like not a lot of ammunition, but they have enough ammunition to sway a battle.
One good thing about the Hinedour is against larger type enemies or units.
Yeah.
Most of the arrows hit twice going in and going out because of how big the hitbox is.
Yeah. It's how they end up usually wiping out most big boyos. It's also why Legolas is so good at taking the spider settlements. You can expand your kingdom really quickly with just Legolas going through there. I'd still recommend having another unit with him, just, safety. But yeah. Now, if you meet the spiders in the open field, you're probably going to lose Legolas, because they can span out and come at you from different angles. You can't hit them all in time before they hit you, because they're fast. But them sailing out of a settlement, they're dead.
And I'm gonna tell you regarding the rebels in EUR, probably in DAC. there is no spiders in those rebel settlements. They're just orcs. So it makes things much more easier for you.
Yeah. Like, before, I kind of relied on Legolas to take those because I took too many losses otherwise. If it's just orcs now, yeah, I can take them normally. I won't expand as fast, but I won't require Legolas to take them without casualties.
As before, the Woodland Realm can have... Lorien has only 2, whereas with at least 1 or even 2 rebel settlements, Woodland Realm doubles them.
Yeah.
They are low quality, however, which holds them back.
Yeah.
Whereas, what can compare to Karas Galadon and I believe it is all the Woodland Realm cannot do it as they are in the beginning. It has no potential. You can go offensively within very steady steps against Dol Guldur, contain Dol Guldur, and then actually set the siege. So it's much more easy for Thranduil to march within. That's why he goes higher than higher than Lorien. But the purpose of Lorien in general is mostly to defend the pass of the Anduin, not to expand.
Yeah. Now, the Woodland Realm has one issue, and it's the fact that it's really expensive units. Its economy isn't the best. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. And it needs to fight off Dol Guldur from the south and Gundabad from the north simultaneously. Yes. It has two completely opposite fronts that it's going to be difficult to deal with. Personally, what I really like to do is take Legolas, take Thranduil, and maybe 1 or 2 of the units, go to Goblin Town, siege it out, wipe out that, kill that, give it to the Anduin Vale, then get every single unit in my nations, with the exception of like 1 garrison unit here or there, and any I think I could recruit, go at Gundabad and completely wipe out Gundabad before coming back. I'm going to be absolutely in the red. I'm gonna be in bankrupt. But once I'm back, I can start banking that up, and then I can face Dol Guldur all alone.
Yes, it could be a viable strategy.
Yeah.
Does not move against you early.
Yeah. Now, the one issue with this strategy is that you cannot afford to occupy Gundabad as you're taking it. You're going to have to give those settlements away, because if you try to give units, you try to occupy the settlements, you're gonna have to leave units behind, take time, and you stabilize the regions, maybe leave a general or 2, and that's gonna give Gundabad too much time to make more units and kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Then this way, which means
I'm actually while you guys are focused on the Gundabad, I'm actually much more the opposite. To me, I'd rather focus on Dol Guldur, since to me they're the much more immediate and most annoying thing than Gundabad. Because, to be honest, Gundabad, they normally ignore you until 30 turns, 20 to 30 turns at best.
Over there.
Yeah. Like, just look at Spitty over there, doing the crates, then going south and north. Oh, and keeping everything. Yeah. The only thing is that I like to roleplay and put limitations on myself. So as the Woodland Realm, I only ever take the forests. That does include Lorien and Fangorn, and also Isengard, because humans have proven they can be trusted there, and they get out there. Leeway. But that's the only areas I ever take in the Woodland Realm. All the time, every time. I never do anything else. So I like to wipe out those threats over there, because that also strengthens the Anduin so much. And Erebor gets that territory. It can push at Angmar, help Northern Dúnedain out. And now the Anduin can also help with Angmar. And it's a lot stronger to face up against Dol Guldur, so I can go slow and steady through the forest. And then as I take the forest and wipe it out, I then get the Yavanna's Union choice at the end of it as I push the enemy out of the forest. And then I can just go, rewards for efforts well deserved. I've saved all my neighbors, helped out Eriador, and now I've proven my superiority over elf and man.
Alright,
I've proven the superiority of Mer over man.
that what my most immediate threat will always be Door compared to Gundabad. Just like I said, they normally ignore you till the 20 to 30 turns. And yes, I would help Anduin occasionally, but I will never allow myself to be at war with Gundabad simply because they're in much more pain. I don't want to do a two-way war. I'm much more focused on a much more immediate. And considering Dogoldur, they spam a lot more troops and they have more territories. That is much more a threat to me than
Yeah.
having a strong orc at the north. Yes, you will do your typical strat, get Vash Gundabad and kill them off. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be blunt and harsh. That is cheesy as fuck. That's cheesy gaming, and I do not like it at all.
Yeah.
It would save me the hassle. It will save me the hassle. It will save Anduin. But to be honest, no.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Like,
I would do it. I would do it. I would. But obviously, no. I focus on a Dogoldur, and then once Dogoldur is weakened enough, then I will go back to facing Gundabad. But even then, you just focus on defending your settlement that is Tarfulin. It is a large town, yes, and that's it.
Yeah.
I do understand where you guys coming from. I'm just at the opposite end of the in terms of gameplay.
Like, funnily enough, Gundabad being a smaller faction is the reason I go for them, but I always take the high pass first, because that is too much of a threat to the Anduin. It cannot handle that and everything else.
Like, oh yes, that is true. They always take Mittelberg.
Yeah. Like, me, I'm not cheesing the Gundabad settlements. You could say I'm cheesing the faction. Sure, you could say that. But I'm emptying everything I own for a blitzkrieg attack, hoping to take them out before Gundabad comes up to kill me. Because if Gundabad comes up earlier than I expect, I'm dead. The Dolguldur, I should say.
Yeah, I do understand that. Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, like, and I also don't have any siege equipment. I'm sieging every settlement there out, and this is after I've taken out the high pass. And then, I can't even split my forces, so I have to take the last one or two settlements out with the reclamation stack there in the field. And sometimes I have to fight that too.
Last faction.
That's the Yavanas Union. Now, before we get to that, important questions, right? Is the Woodland Realm above Arnor?
No, I think not.
No.
No, I don't think so either.
Of units, armies.
Neither do I.
Yeah. So, is it above the Aradunheim?
Because of the quality of the archer.
My bias is gonna kill me, but maybe?
I'd have a strong inkling as to say yes. A strong argument for they'd be above the AA, but not Arnor.
Yeah. Okay. So, Woodland Realm is where it should be. Now, Yavana's Union. What's our opinions on that? It's the last faction on this entire list.
I believe that the Yavana's Union is above Arnor.
Yes. Because it's a combination of traits.
Yeah. We also
have
do
everything
they still
you have.
Get the units from the Anduin after becoming the Yavana's Union?
Yes, indeed.
I was about to say that when you play as either those faction,
when it comes to Yavanna's chosen, whether you play as Wooden Worm or Lorien. Yeah, I do agree. The surpass honor, but the better question will be is in what turns does Yavanna Union will be, because you can actually delay Yavanna's Union by not going to diplomat and do whatever the turns you wanted. Let's just say let's just say you just made it at turn 50.
Yeah, like
and that's that.
You can end up forming Yavanna's Union by turn 30 if you're quick about it, maybe even 20. But generally speaking, most people are going to end up forming Yavanna's Union at about turn 50 to 80.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the norm.
It's even better to form it after as Lorien to form it after turn 30, because then you get 2 extra generals.
Yeah.
In the form of Rhûn and Orphan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this isn't just. But this isn't like, oh, we're going to delay, or we're going to just not, or we're going to rush Yavanna's Union. This should be like a fully fledged Yavanna's Union with everyone that you have.
Yeah.
Or that you can get before it.
Yeah. This is Yavanna's Union at its best.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Like all your generals, all your places. Just, I think it's better than Arnor.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, definitely better than Arnor.
It has the, yeah. Who's next to Casa Doom?
Lyndon, I think.
Yeah, that's Lyndon. Yeah. That's Lyndon, Casa Doom, and Gundabad.
I think Yavanna's Union is better than Lyndon.
I think so too. Like I've yet to ask where you wish to place it. I was just kind of talking about it at the moment. You're right about that, Speedy. Going solo is probably the better option. You get much better units, but the Yavanna's Union as a faction is implying you have all of the Woodland Realm and all of Lorien and possibly Fingon as well, and those combinations.
You also get Ents too.
Yeah.
With Yavanna's Union.
Also get
in
Ents.
Isengard specifically.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. You also get them at Dol Guldur, I believe now.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay.
I know for a fact that if you build the Yavanna's Union building in either the Mithrandir's Hall or Karos Galathon, you can get Ents there. No, Speedy, don't stop yourself. Come on. What is it? What are you about to type out? You can trust us. It'll be confidential. Very confidential.
Yeah,
see.
It's just between the 5 of us.
Yeah, exactly. Ignore the 8 viewers in the chat. In the stream.
Yeah.
I mean,
technically 7 because I'm in the chat right now too.
Sis, don't tell him that.
God damn it.
Okay. Yeah, I see. So, it's definitely stronger than Lyndon. Is Yavanna's Union stronger than Casa Doom? It's
I don't think so. Really?
No.
They don't
Even if you played as Woodland Realm and do the Yavanna's Chosen and get a Hina Dower, I say no. Really.
Yeah.
They really have
I
the defensive faction for dwarves. Despite having Lorien as a defensive nation and Woodland Realm as an aggressive nation, combining them, theoretically, they're better. But not better against Casa Doom.
Casa Doom just wins that. I'm afraid. I cannot with good faith bring it up.
Hey, keep in mind the only reason why the Casa Doom they win to settlement quality.
Yes.
Settlement quality,
I can
yeah.
also say the same.
And the strength of their armor. The legions are tough.
Yes.
They're a tough cookie.
Oh yeah.
And
alright, everybody. So, that's the tier list.
And we are
that's everything finally organized.
30 minutes.
So that has
finally.
been what? 10, 11 hours combined.
Yes.
yeah.
And
Three
now
and a half
it's
hours
time
of
for
training.
the last part, everybody. We need to go over things here and see if we want to move anything around. We're not going to go one by one. We're just going to look through here and see if there's any faction we think we want to talk about. Like, just look through the tier list and see if you can spot any faction you want to talk about.
I do
Since
personally, I
I was
don't
not
think
here
so.
in Angmar, since I was not here in Angmar, I will say they do get to the wing script, and you get you in order to you do get the wing script and get the bunch of units, but you will lose the Witch King. But there's a loophole by get the wing script, and you will face the Witch King, but not taking Imladris or Phonos, but taking them both. While after the wing script, you get the Witch King.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's fine.
That is the loophole that everyone in the EUR knows. Before taking either Imladris or Phonos, you should get the one wing first, accept it, face the Witch King. And once you defeat the Witch King, that is where you take Phonos and Imladris combined, and you get the Witch King.
So, do you want Angmar to move somewhere along this list?
As much as I wanted to surpass Mordor, I say they're what they are now.
Okay.
What about you guys?
Actually, I can't find anything that I would lower what it is right now. Possibly I would move Dol Guldur to the D, possibly. High D, however.
Disqualified.
Yeah, we have Spitty raging in that chat about anyway.
Yes, with Ened, big nightmare here.
Yeah.
Spitty really hates Enedway, mostly because he's testing and a nightmare when it comes to Enedway.
Yeah, exactly. That Ened
here,
very big nightmare.
A negative bias, and that is not really fair. In all honesty,
there is one thing I do wish to bring up though. It's Erebor.
Yeah.
I feel it should be higher.
Which higher? Higher
I want to bring it up to S tier.
Can you tell us why you want to make it as S tier for Erebor?
It's still a dwarven nation, and yes, it's the most basic, sure, but it has more armor than Eret Lewin. It has way more damage than on a Casa Doom, and it has amazingly powerful units that, honestly, some of them don't lose out to Casa Doom in armor. Yes, it doesn't have the Mithril Mines, but it has the Iron Hills and the Lonely Mountain. Those two mines are already better than the two mines Eret Lewin starts with. Which, yes, they start with a third, I know, but we don't count the middle one there, okay? And yes, it is tough for them to face Gundabad, but it's not impossible. I am able to hold Gundabad back. Take those two settlements up there with one or two units, hold that with 2 or 3 until I can come together to finally take on Dane's Halls. Then I hold there as I then focus on the east to try and push Rhûn back. It is insanely powerful faction that can do so much with so little, and it is an economic powerhouse. It's just, I think we put it too low because we feel it's so bland. But it is so bland because it is the dwarfiest dwarf.
while I do agree with you, Garvin, on making it as a S tier, sadly my opinions remains the same. In regard to make the honestly being bland and less script-wise. As much as they have as much both of them are settlement quality-wise, that is a S tier for me. But in every mounted settlement are S tier and settlement quality. To me, I cannot put in conscience nor in good faith to make them as S tier.
I also believe so. As much as I like Erebor, and must not forget that the only king of the dwarves is Dain. This means Erebor. Everything else is either a colony or a vassal.
Yeah.
Even Khazad-dûm, that is top, is a vassal of Dain.
Yeah. Khazad-dûm
However,
is just an
we have
expedition
to
from
judge
Erebor.
everything fairly.
Yeah. Like, I feel like we're letting our bias of how bland Erebor is to play because of the lack of scripts and stuff.
Yes.
Throw it too far down.
Logic, nothing else. It's purely logic.
Yeah. Like, if we ignore the lack of scripts, like, where in the S tier do we want to put Erebor?
I say that tier will be on behind Dunedain at best.
Yes.
That's the least I could do in good faith. If we put it S tier, simply because they're dwarves as Erebor.
Yeah.
Removing being biased or being bland, we put it at S tier for Erebor. How about that?
Yeah, I can see it. Like, let's also not forget that Erebor has to fight Gundabad and Rhûn, the two potentially strongest factions in this bloody game, when it comes to being under AI control and having to face them from opposite ends of its long northern kingdom. And it is still pretty darn possible to do. Hell, I'd even go so far as to call it just mildly challenging.
Yeah.
They're insanely powerful for what they are, and I love it. But they're also held back by the fact they have to face those two factions and almost carry those wars.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that the AI for Erebor usually they are stagnant. They're stagnant from attacking Ozanar and Vidibor.
Ozanar, you mean?
Yeah.
Ozanar and Vidibor, and they stuck to Maranon, to the very east.
Yeah.
The very east settlement castle, and that's it. They don't push that much. Yeah. I rarely see them push to Vubar, and that's it.
Yeah, but that is still also a problem that we see with every Dwarven and Elven faction. They push way too little. It's perfectly fine, Spitty. Don't worry about it. Like, considering how powerful they are, all of those factions should be pushing a whole lot more, and they just don't. They rarely ever lose. Like, it takes a lot to overwhelm them, but they just stagnate. All of them. With an occasional exception every now and again, depending on the run.
Possibly it's because due to the lore, the elves and the dwarves are not the humans are.
Yeah.
The dwarves want their mountains.
Ooh,
nothing
that is really good, Spitty. The new version of Erebor is going to be much better, much more fun, and he's seen Erebor at Mordor's border now. That is very good. Okay, so it is being improved.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
So I have nothing to add more. I think this is the proper purely logic, receiving the faith and the love to the faction each one deserves as they are.
Yeah.
And including factions that are not exist, merge, that are combinations, etc. I feel this.
Yeah, this feels right. Right. Final questions then. Gundabad, is it in the right placement?
Well,
no, I meant
Moria.
Moria. Goblins of Moria.
Moria?
Yeah.
Moria?
Yeah, I think they're in the right placement.
The right place. They're the king of C tier.
Yeah.
I'm honest.
Yeah.
And because I accidentally asked it,
high.
then Gundabad? I put them up there because of my bias, but you know.
But if we look at it objectively wise, I say Gundabad. It has, but it goes the same as the goblins in terms of settlement quality. Like face it, Baswood, Versicle, Fortress, Danes Hall, City.
Yeah.
Citadel.
You need to take those goblins out.
Citadel.
And Gundabad, it started as a city, and not to mention you get mines that are you get the richest mines, and you get those special units that is from the guild building for the Avengers Guild. Objectively wise, there are the S tier as they are, and considering you get the ring script, it's much even better.
Yeah, and Goblin Town is on your expansion way. It's really close by, literally. It's just single settlement away. And if you wanted, Litas, Mount Graham, and Carn Doom are yours as well.
Yes,
that's a fuck ton of maxed out settlements in one location. Gundabad, Versicle, Danes Halls, High Pass, Mount Graham, Carn Doom, and maybe Litas. That's either on a maxed out or one from being maxed out that the beginning could possibly give you. All in that singular location. In that team.
Yes.
Okay. I am happy then. 11 hours and we finally did it.
11 hours? Yeah, technically, it only took us 4 days.
Yeah, only 4 days, baby.
Yes. Finally,
the only reason why it didn't take 3 days is because, well, blackout on your end.
Yeah,
right.
The power went out yesterday. I was only thinking 3.
However, guys, we said everything, considering every single factor, each one had what. And because we are 4, so it has to take the time. But I believe this is the best.
Yeah.
Yes, except for Speedy. He wanted
Yeah, Speedy will never agree with Edward where it is.
He wants Edward actually out of the list. Not only the tier low, out of the list completely.
Yeah. And you're right about that, Speedy. I'll probably have to do this again when I play on a Imladris, the Kingdom of...
Or just edit the fucking thing we already have.
And Black Rat.
Bring us version 2 and he will play everything.
Yeah.
All together.
Yeah, like, hey, you already know my plan for version 2.0. I'm gonna go into my hotkey thing, enable my defensive battle things, do the whole thing behind the scenes there, and play every single elven faction in this bloody game, including Dorvinian. And with Dorvinian, I will have a certain challenge on that one where I can only expand using elven units. Northman units can be used to defend the home front, but that's much as I can use them.
But which elven unit we're talking about? The elven choice or the Evelyn, the men's choice? That's the big question.
Look, I'm going to if I get 2.0 and to test it out and learn that they're actually locked behind the man choice, I'm gonna bitch and moan in the EUR server enough for that to be changed.
I mean you have the rank of the EUR and Maya, so therefore you do have some influence to do it.
Yeah, I have a little bit of influence, a little bit. Until Speedy bans me for having ended with it so high.
And it took us 3
Remove
whole
Garvin from
days
testing team.
Then, Spitty, you lose one of your very best testers ever. Believe me.
4 days. 4 days worth of losing sleep for this one is worth it for me on my head. For this tier list, and I'm very glad.
But yeah, that's gonna have to be me for today. There's 6 minutes and I have D&D. So we got this just in time.
Yeah.
Okay. I leave you then. Goodbye and thank you for these 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus
Thank you all for that, and thank you all for being here to witness my firing from the testing team. As they said, Spitty, they talked to Quinn and Perry, and they have decided to let me go and explore other options and opportunities. It's been an honor.
Are we considering Garen did a V2 graduation, but EUR version?
That'd be hilarious. I really do have to go. I'll see you boys later. I'll go say my goodbye to the stream.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, I know, Spitty. Right, so. As always, everybody, I would stick around and chat a little, but I have D&D in 5 minutes, and I still need to put food in the oven. So, yeah. So, as always, everybody, it's been wonderful. Where did that thing go? There it is. It's been wonderful having you beautiful bastards here today, alright? I hope to see you all again next time. We'll actually get to play some more Rhûn. God, I love you fucking bastards. I will, Spitty. Don't worry about that.